well, Matt, welcome to episode 11 of Isekai Realm Season 2. We are attending a local mage's party, soiree, crashing his date. I don't know. But anyway, let's see what mayhem erupts. I am Eric Scott DeVee, playing Elric Thalavar, a version of myself who is here in the realms. No longer an aspiring paladin, but an actual paladin, now just trying to cling to the lawful good alignment. I wanted to mention that by the time you're seeing this, the third book in my Justice Vengeance series, Fallen Angel, will have come out, and so you should go buy that. I don't have the actual book because, well, we're recording this back in October, and it doesn't exist yet, but I am about to send it to final printing, so look forward to that. And with that, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. Sorry if my lighting's a bit weird right now. I'm going to try to fix that in a little bit here. But I am Alexander Pitchford, or Allie for short. I'm playing myself, as is everyone here, but I have been going by Amara Valerian since being turned into an elf. And if he didn't want us to show up to this date or whatever the heck this is, maybe the invitation should have been more clear.
I think the lighting's awesome, Ali. It's kind of like coming in beams. You're mysterious. You're half like it's perfect for your character.
We know you're not a vampire.
I'm in shadow. It's yeah.
So I'm Rhiannon Held. Apologies, perhaps for the final time for the little while, for being off camera, recovering from spinal surgery, but it's going well. So I should be back in action soon. And also, apologies in all of that fuss. I have caught a common cold for the first time since the beginning of the Panini. So I'm back to that experience.
Oh, Rhiannon. All right. Well, we're all pulling for you. Hope you feel better soon.
That we are.
So apologies for sniffling and etc. that I don't catch with the mute button. I have two dice partners to tell you about. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you're skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and accessories at norsefoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com. And I forgot to say, for my own stuff, I'm a writer of urban fantasy and space opera. So check those out under author names Rhiannon Held and also RZ Held. Over to you, Joel.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, usually one of your mods in chat, but tonight I am playing a version of myself, who is now a Myrmidon fighter. And yeah, over to you, Randy.
Hi, I'm Randy, playing Randonius Hendersonius Maximus, the bard of the group, and check out our Discord. Hop on over there and join in. There's lots of great chatting, community. Bonus material. Check it out.
Awesome.
Over to me.
Yeah.
Over to you, Chris.
All right. Greetings and welcome yet again, everyone, to, as Eric points out, our 11th episode of Season 2. We're getting deep now into the story. And as everyone pointed out when last we left our heroes, they had arrived at the tall house of Tormil Gost, who is a nobleman, rather insignificant member of the Gost noble family, pretty far down the line in succession, but nevertheless a wealthy man, and wizard, who the party rescued from perils in Undermountain while they were sort of camped out at the promenade, and who, by way of repaying them to some degree, has invited them all to a lovely little dinner at his abode. And
which may have been a mistake on his part, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see how that turns out. And at the end of our last episode, we had a conversation between him and Rhiannon in his study upstairs. It's pretty clear that he is pretty fond of Rhiannon, and a bit of social awkwardness between him and Allie downstairs before he went upstairs for that purpose. And so we are picking things up as the bell is ringing to indicate that dinner is being served. This tall house is 2 stories. It's located in the North Ward. The upper story is sort of like his private area, and the first floor seems to consist largely of a kitchen a big dining room and a big sitting room, along with whatever other small rooms might be located in this place. And the party was sort of waiting in the sitting room. Rhiannon and he, arm in arm, will come down from the second floor on the wrought iron spiral staircase to the first floor as that dinner bell is ringing and the door to the dining room is opening. Anything from any of you, or shall we go into the dining room and chat there?
Dining room.
Nope.
Dining room it is. All right. So the dining room is pretty much the highlight of the first floor of this building. It is dominated by a magnificent dining table crafted from a single ring of a giant tree and polished to a high sheen. The room, exudes good taste and elegance. The table is surrounded by finely carved wooden chairs. Their seats cushioned in this deep green fabric. If you recall, green and yellows are the colors of House Gost. A large fireplace at one end of the room provides warmth and a little bit of ambiance, and it has a mantelpiece adorned with delicate porcelain figures. The walls are lined with a rich wooden paneling, and there are several fine paintings of pastoral scenes that sort of add to the ambiance in the room. There is also the beginnings of a feast laid out on the table. This appears to be the first course of a many-course meal. You will enter. He will lead Rhiannon to the far head of the table. He will seat himself at the head of the table on the far side. There's room for up to 12, but there are presently 8 chairs configured around the room. 1 on each head of the table and 3 on each side of the table. He'll seat himself at the, as I said, sort of far head table chair, and Rhiannon guide you to the one immediately on his right. I assume that's okay with you, Rhiannon?
Yep.
Okay. And so the rest of you are sort of free to choose whatever chairs you would like. Think about where you want to sit, and I'll tell you what's arrayed on the table. There appears to be some sort of like a seafood platter, right? Shrimp, what looks like some sort of spiced fish. That's probably crab meat. And it's definitely covered in a garlic sauce because you can clearly smell that. And there are what look like tiny little pickles sort of sprinkled throughout it. There's also an assortment of cheeses and biscuits, hand wheels of cheese served with what look like hot biscuits covered in melted butter, and a side of, that looks like maybe mint jelly. There are also crystal goblets that appear to be ready to be filled with wine, although there is no present wine on the table.
Cool. Can we take our first break now so I can go eat? Because I'm hungry all of a sudden.
So to clarify, it's the table is a single tree ring, but it's got a head and a foot.
Well, it's oval in shape, right?
Oval,
it's not
okay.
entirely round. And so it's organized so that at the ends of sort of the oval ends of it, one more prominent chair exists on either side. But nice catch.
Okay.
No lazy Susan then.
I'm debating what I want to do here. Because
I'm not. I'm going to walk up and sit on his left hand.
Okay.
Damn it!
Gotta be quick.
You gotta be quick.
I'll go up and sit on his left leg. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's what I was debating. I'm like, how would that be perceived? Probably for the best, because I'm still salty as fuck.
I would like to sit at a place around the. I would like to sit at a place around the table where I can look at Rhiannon and she can give me significant glances, because I feel like that might happen. So.
You do ya? You think significant glances will happen?
Yeah, like stop it. That kind of glances.
Oh, I see.
I will.
Well, you should get in like kicking range then.
No, I'm deliberately out of kicking range.
Okay.
I will sit next to Joel.
Okay.
I'll sit next to Allie. If you're still salty as heck, Allie, I think the white wine would pair nicely with you. Like, it's probably a sweeter wine. And
Dang it! Did you all put me next to Rhiannon? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I think
All
so.
right, it's fine. I guess I am sitting next to Rhiannon. Okay.
But that means you can at least like kind of subtly maybe do touch communication with her.
Subtly. Ow! Ow!
There's really fancy silver, and you can tell from the sheen of it, right? Silverware on the table, knives, forks, and spoons. Those knives look pretty sharp, so you're within stabbing range, Eric.
I see. Great. I have a number of hit points. I should be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she's
as
going
we're
to try to kill you.
As we're seating ourselves, I do want to say, very, very smoothly, because I'm not outwardly salty. I'm just inwardly salty. I will say, I wanted to thank you again for having all of us. Though, if I offered some offense, I do apologize.
He will look. Clearly, he's trying to figure out how to best handle this situation. He realizes, and Rhiannon, you're more attuned to him than anybody else in the room.
Yeah.
That he's sort of stepped in it a little bit, and he's trying to figure out how to back his way out of the poo that he stepped in, and appropriately clean the shoe. And so he'll say that to him, and he will say, after a moment of sort of like the gears turning, right? None taken, and I hope I, in turn, did not overly insult you, madam. I am not an elf, and so perhaps it is that I do not understand elven culture, and so I assume any miscommunication between the two of us can be explained by that. He's going with that one.
Yeah.
I'll just smile. Of course.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you were all able to join me here this evening. Please dig in. We've got quite the meal prepared, and I imagine you must have rather healthy appetites after your journey.
Certainly.
So, would you like to eat and drink?
Oh yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna do my dance where I don't want to get drunk off my ass, and so I'm gonna, ask for water to add to my wine or whatever.
Yeah.
While Amara's like 2 drinks in
already, because yes, you pre-gamed in the sitting
that's
room.
right.
Yeah, because I got salty and I drank. I knocked back the entire drink I had and then got another one.
And then I got another one.
Presumably, which I then finished in the intervening period.
The wine is white wine, which pairs nicely with the fish, and it is a subtle vintage, so it's not particularly strong. So you feel as though you can drink a reasonable amount of it without getting completely schnookered.
Okay.
So that's a plus. And the food is delightful. I mean, you've had good food since you've come here before. Jamal wasn't a terribly bad cook, so you had a nice meal with her. And the food at the manor Trollskull Manor that you left was also pretty good. The promenade's food was delicious, but very different in composition for sort of like typical surface foods, right? But this is clearly the woman who you saw and her sons are professional cooks, because they have prepared a professional level meal. And so it's all really quite delightful. You might want to remember not to fill up on the bread here at Olive Garden, because there's probably several courses coming your way. So as you're doing that, he will say to you, Rhiannon, you must visit the Font of Knowledge, our local temple to Agma. It's a treasure trove for those who seek wisdom and lore. And perhaps a guided tour could be enlightening. I'd be happy to show you around.
Oh, that sounds fun. Speaking of places to tour that it's an interest of mine, are there any? I hate to say ruins, because ruins are sometimes sort of allowed to decay sort of picturesquely, but older architecture that's not still in use but still shows the lives of those who came before, that might be of interest here.
There are sections of the city that are far older than others, but Waterdeep is a very industrious place, and so places don't tend to stay in decay or ruin for long. They tend to be dismantled and rebuilt and that sort of thing. But the City of the Dead contains some architecture that you might find particularly interesting. That is a place where people erect things that are meant to last forever.
That sounds interesting.
You mean the huge graveyard, I take it, yes?
You'll say that? You mean the huge graveyard, I take it. It is reasonably safe, particularly if you visit it during the day.
I'm told that they have wonderful topiary animals there as well.
Where they carve things into the likenesses of animals. Is that correct?
Exactly, my lord.
Yes. Oh, please, Tormil. When you save a man's life, you get to call him by his first name.
Very well. Please call me Elric, Tormil.
Elric. As a paladin of Helm, you must have a unique perspective on the city's many layers of society. How do you find Waterdeep compared to places you've been before? And your son? Must be quite an adventure for him as well.
We have only been here so long. I have yet to establish a complete view of the city, but it seems relatively safe compared to other places that we have been.
That it is. There are dangerous places, like any human civilization. The dock ward at night is not a place that I would necessarily recommend that you go. And the City of the Dead has, unfortunately, sometimes something of an unsavory reputation past, midnight. But most of the rest of the city can be safe. There are specifically dangerous places like the Blue Alley, for example, which is a sort of an above-ground dungeon of sorts that's located in the northern part of the city. But as long as you stick to the sort of well-lighted, well-watched places, most of them are pretty reasonably safe.
Yes, they sound very grindy. Mhm.
I'm just like the local tourist board. Like, come look at our graveyards. Come visit our dungeons. Come what?
I mean, I did ask for old sort of archaeological.
Right, fair. Yeah. Oh yeah, fair.
To me, this sounds a bit like, oh, you're visiting Seattle. Here's the things that tourists often look
the
into.
underground tour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or you're taking the catacomb tour of Paris or something along those lines. As you're having this part of the conversation, a soup has been brought out. It apparently is some sort of a turtle soup because it is being served in upside down turtle shells. It's hot, sort of steaming.
Leonardo. Sorry.
Is there anything you'll sort of have to tell me, right? If there's something that you're like, I will not eat the monkey brains, or whatever the case may be, you'll have to give me a heads up about that.
I mean, Amara will avoid anything that doesn't, because Elven palate now, and I've been kind of been adjusting to. So I'll take things that do seem like appealing to me, but I think if a lot of it is very meat heavy, then I'm definitely not going to be partaking much of those.
Well,
So
the first
soup,
course
perhaps
was
not.
seafood, wasn't it?
Yes, seafood
Yeah.
and cheese and biscuit.
Which is a little lighter, which is good. Like, I think the fish, the seafood's definitely, she'd definitely be more, take a little bit more of that than she might like anything heavier, but yes.
Just kind of glance across the table. Is it sufficiently salty, Amara?
Oh, there's plenty of salt.
Good to hear. Ow!
She's having a whole internal thing, like that commentary about like, oh, if you when you save someone, you don't have to call them Lord, and she's just like, oh yeah.
I think you should just call him whatever you want and see what happens.
No.
Ow! Sorry.
No, she's having a whole ass time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep my eye on people as though I am protecting everyone from themselves and from me, because I am a paladin of Helm, and we are all about protection.
You are, I guess that much is true. So,
It's going to be
unless someone says so, I'm going to assume that you're going to try the food.
Yep.
And the turtle soup is actually pretty delightful. It's rich and flavorful.
All right.
I feel
Joel?
bad for the person.
I'm mostly just pushing food around on my plate.
Okay.
Rich people food.
Is that because you're attempting not to eat what's offered, or is that just because so far nothing has really struck your fancy?
Mostly A. I'm still not sure about this guy. So
I'm a little wary.
little wary. I loaded up at
drugging you all right now.
I ate a lot of the earlier meal, so I'm
Okay.
I'm not turning out my nose entirely. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually eating anything.
Despite how grumpy I am, I'm at least trying to be pleasant and like a good guest. So I am actually like, taking some of the food and eating, and so I'm not holding back.
Good. He's engaged in sort of friendly, light dinner conversation. He's doting on Rhiannon in terms of like making commentary about the food and that sort of thing. But he's making a point to try to engage the rest of you where it seems appropriate in the conversation. So far, he's done with Eric, for example, where that opportunity leapt to him. And now we're clearing away the soup, and we're bringing out a salad. So hey, Allie, this is right up your alley. Allie. This looks like it's a mix of fresh greens, herbs, and what looks like maybe edible flowers with some sort of a vinaigrette sauce or
I am
what have
all
you on
over
top
that.
of it. I'm all over that. Okay. Anyone else not eating the salad?
No, I like a salad.
Okay. Again, it's all quite delightful. So he'll say, turning the conversation back over to the rest of you, Randonius, you worship, it would appear, Ogma?
No, finder, in fact. And I wouldn't say worship so much as sort of, we have a mutually beneficial partnership arrangement.
I see. Finder is that name. I've heard it somewhere before, just not in a divine sense. Finder is the god of?
Of renewal, of things, and removing obstacles from your path, and just sort of, there's the cycle of life and death and renewal and spring, and he's kind of bringing things back from the rot and the darkness and the
God of reboots.
Yep, the god of reboots. Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what that is, but what you said about him sounds pretty delightful, and a very appropriate deity for an adventuring company. So your company is not devoted to one god or goddess or another. You sort of all share your faiths.
I guess you could say that, yeah. We're just, I think our
Pawns is what we are.
Do you want to say that, Random?
No, I'm saying that.
Okay, fair enough.
So Tormal, I understand that your family is well connected with the Lathanderite Church.
We're sponsors of the Lathanderite Church, yes, going way back. Our present patriarch is particularly fond of the Church of Lathander. And Siamorphe.
So I heard a very interesting rumor, bit of gossip back in Westgate that you might be able to shed some more light on. I heard that that there may be a schism pending within the church hierarchy. Have you heard anything like that?
Of Lathander?
Yes.
Let me roll some dice.
Okay.
No, I can't say I have heard about that.
Well, all right. Well,
I'm not an overwhelmingly religious man myself. I pray to many gods.
Well, the theological schism that we heard about was that some members of Lathander's hierarchy believe that he may actually be Amunator, and that he may have been Amunator in hiding all this time, and that he may be casting off his disguise soon. Is that
That name's a little unfamiliar to me. What's an Amunator?
Oh, that is the Netherese god of the sun. He's another sun.
Netherese? Huh. You're
yes.
a pretty well-educated man as it relates to religion. I would not, no offense intended, have assumed from a warrior that would be the case.
Joel is something of a scholar, Tormel.
Oh, really? Interesting. Of religions?
Just widely read.
Excellent. I think it's an excellent idea to engage in a fair amount of reading. Again, every time he makes a pithy comment, he kind of looks to you, Rhiannon, to make sure you're smiling. Did that land well with Rhiannon?
Oh my god. But also, I tested the waters a little bit there, seeing how he reacted to me calling him Tormel, which seems to be not missing a step at all. So, noted.
He seems to have invited the room to address him as Tormel.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Cool.
And so as the salad phase of your meal is winding down, you'll note that there is what appears to be a main course coming out, and it kind of looks like a Thanksgiving turkey, right? Like, that's the best analogy that I can give you. Only it's much larger than probably even the biggest Thanksgiving turkey that you've seen before. If this was a turkey, it'd be a 40-pound bird, which, I don't know if there are 40-pound turkeys, or if there are, they're probably doping these turkeys to get to 40 pounds. And he will say, the centerpiece of our evening's feast.
Fried cockatrice.
It is indeed a roasted cockatrice, a special dish. It's said that in ancient times, warriors would feast on it before a battle for courage. I hope it inspires valor in our all collective endeavors. Please enjoy. So, anybody not eating the cockatrice, or pretty much we're...
I glance at it, and then I'm going to look at Tormil. I'm like, Tormil, have you ever eaten cockatrice before?
Oh, certainly.
Huh. And you didn't have any unpleasant allergy-related reactions?
I mean, it's important when one is eating a rich meal to eat sparingly and not overfill oneself. But as long as you proceed in moderation, I think you should probably be fine. Have you ever been in battle with a cockatrice before? Perhaps you have some reaction you might concern yourself with owing to that.
Well, your cook didn't prepare the beak, did they?
No.
Eric, what? Elric, what?
Oh, cockatrices can turn entities to stone. Depending on the breed, it could be with the eyes or with the beak.
You're all
It's
very
always good to be
knowledgeable.
safe.
So, Rhiannon, did you say that in exactly that tone?
Yeah.
Elric. So
Anyway, I was just
Eric's
curious
a
because
big
it is.
boy. He can pick
it
up
is-
on your what you're putting down.
It's just such a rare treat. Thank you, Tormil.
You're welcome. I sent my man out to find something that was worthy of a group of adventurers to eat. It may have cost me a few coin to provide this here tonight, but I am trying to impress. He is again looking at you, Rhiannon, and repay you for the service you did me in Undermountain. Priceless, one would suggest. So, what's a cockatrice between friends?
Well, then it
Okay.
would be rude not to partake. I'll take a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I will try
It's-
some of it as well.
It's surprisingly tasty. And whoever read last night, because someone did, Volo's Guide to Waterdeep, will know this recipe, because contained within Volo's Guide to Waterdeep is the recipe for roasted cockatrice.
Oh, wow.
So, how about that?
I spent the evening reading that book.
So there you go. You have some insight into this situation. And it is, given the list of ingredients that you saw for it, pretty much what you would have expected, which is sort of like a more flavorful turkey, right? There's a bit of bitterness to it that you don't get from a turkey, but that's covered over by the fact that they've done a very good job of seasoning the bird. But you are definitely eating a monster in a delicious in dungeon sort of way. So I hope you're enjoying it, and none of you know what that is, I suspect, at this point, given when you came into the game.
Well,
No.
well, I've been bedbound. Well, not bedbound, but having to not do a lot of things. I finished all of that, so
Oh,
all
so
of
you
Delicious
shoot-
and Dungeon. So I
you
wondered.
shoot
I was
through it.
like,
I watched it as it came out every week.
Okay. When I said none of you know, I meant probably because you've been gone from Earth.
Oh, right,
Oh,
because we
long
were
enough that
recorded
you
in
might not
before
know.
that came out.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair.
But nonetheless, it's interesting that you know it too, and it's a great show. And I know they talked about it on the Discord for the dungeonscrawlers. So, haha, there you go. Look at it all tie in together. Anyway, so you're eating the main course. The main course is being served with a wine that's sort of a little bit spicy and flavorful. It's sort of like orange red in color. Czar. I know some of you know what that is.
Yep.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all drinking the Czar?
nope.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll have some.
Well, I'll have some.
As previously established, alcoholism is a disease, and I am immune to diseases. Here we go.
Here we go down these whatchamabouts.
Look,
Jordan, this is
I had
not-
I had 2 drinks before dinner.
Quiet, you.
I've had some wine so far. I'm having the czar.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, all 95 pounds of Allie is like
I am
6 drinks.
loose.
All right. So your other options include a Neverwinter White, a robust red from and a delicate sour white wine that's locally produced. That and the Tsar is what's being served with the main course. So
Buy local, folks.
Okay, so there you go. So some of you are having Tsar. Rhiannon, which of those appealed to you?
Probably the Neverwinter White. Not so much the sour, and I don't do red. So
Okay, there you go. Eric, you look like you're about to say a thing.
I would like to just kind of casually touch Rhiannon's arm so that I can communicate with her mentally.
Okay.
And I want to say, you sure you don't want to try it?
what, the Tsar?
Oh, yes. I mean, I could only describe it so well.
I mean, its description has always sounded like something like me personally would not like. I never liked port, so.
Fair enough.
It has a
I love
unique
port.
fiery orange color, and it smells strongly of almonds. That's what Tsar is like.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, dinner party rules sort of thing, though.
Mhm.
If I'm like literally give me a thimbleful, and then I'm like, give me the white. Like that's not gonna go over very well. So if
Yeah.
I do try it, I'm gonna be stuck with like
Yeah, so
half
you-
a glass that I can't
So you
really get
might
rid
as well
of.
drink
so,
what you like. Fair
yes,
enough.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
Well, I could give you a taste of mine if you like. That's what I'm saying. But up to you. No pressure.
It's fine. Actually, I think just to screw with people. After Eric says that, is Tormel trying Tsar? Or not trying, but having Tsar?
Tormel is having Tsar, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to him and say, I've heard of Tsar, but I've never had the opportunity to try it before. Can I just take like a tiny sip of yours to see without getting a full glass?
Absolutely, and he will delicately hand you his crystal goblet.
Okay. So I will drink from the other side,
Mhm.
from where he was drinking, and I'm gonna try it
Mhm.
that way.
All right. Do you like almonds?
Ish, yeah.
Okay. If you like almonds, you'd like Tsar. Tsar is kind of like almonds, spicy, a little bit of alcohol taste. That's your 3 main tastes when you get Tsar. And it smells very strongly of almonds when you get it up close to your nose. So if you're an almond person, then you like Tsar. If you're not an almond person, not so much.
Yeah, I'll stick with the white, but it's
Okay.
interesting to have tried it.
It's important for us to experience new things, he'll say, smiling wolfishly at you.
Oh,
Going full
Everybody,
wolfish. Oh, boy.
everybody caught that. Everybody caught that. So after that moment, and as you're sort of finishing up the cockatrice, he will turn to all of you collectively again, and paying sort of more attention to you, Eric, because he sort of perceives you as the sort of like spokesman for the group, right?
oh no. Okay.
He'll say, so I've offered, if you recall, to assist you in the travels that you have in mind that we discussed previously. Is there something that I can do? I don't remember where you're headed in the short term. I think we briefly discussed this, but anything I might be able to do to assist you, I'd like to help with.
Well, we do tend to make our decisions about our course democratically, as it were, through discussion and consensus. So, and there has been some brief, well, I shouldn't say brief, ongoing discussion about where exactly we will go next. And I look around to everyone else.
Is that are we going to say this out loud?
Yeah.
Rhiannon, you realize in your own head, that you've said some things about where the party is planning on going.
Mhm.
Back one-on-one in Undermountain, or, the promenade. So
Mhm.
certain cats may be out of certain bags at this point. But Eric thinks that those cats are all still stuffed in there.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, this is sort of speaking towards the group and Eric. We did determine we were going to the Rock of Brawl, did we not?
There was some discussion about whether we were going to do that.
Well, as I made evident before, you know where my vote is.
We have our method for getting there. Maybe we should get it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, in the silence in between you saying that and people not really responding to that, he will say, if I recall, that's in the sky, yes?
Indeed.
Yes.
It is one of the tiers of Salune.
And Rhiannon, I believe you mentioned something about a local shrine.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be the shrine to Sylvanus that you seek, if I'm not mistaken, called the Wild Stone. It's not far from here. Again, this is sort of to you, Eric. Rhiannon, the two of you have already kind of discussed this, but now he's clearly sort of saying it to everyone, right? Like as if perhaps you hadn't talked entirely about it.
Yeah.
About a mile north off the high road, passed by it countless times. It's a serene place, fitting for the worship of a god of the wild nature. That's a pause for you all to say something.
So I have heard. I would be interested in seeing such a place.
Okay. Seeing that you're the only one who's going to say something, he'll launch back in. Well, the high road is pretty well traveled and patrolled, so your journey should be relatively safe. However, if you'd like, I can provide horses to make your travel easier and swifter. A guide could also be arranged if you think you need one. Someone who knows the area well enough that you can reach your destination without any trouble. But given how close it is, I don't know that you need one of those.
Well,
Anything I can do, please let me know.
That would be very generous of you, Toriel.
And nobody else responds, so he will say, consider it the least that I can do to assist you. So you plan to depart soon, I take it?
Tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes,
that's correct.
We're on something of a timeline, unfortunately. We have a meeting to keep.
Well, then I shall arrange that horses, equal in number to the number in your group, and supplies as needed, will be arriving at Troll Skull Manor first thing after dawn. How many horses do you envision that you'll need?
Well, I can't ride, so.
Why can't you?
If we ask for twice as many as we need, we can sell the extras.
Oh no.
Well, we
DM
we do have
to
some
player.
we do have some hirelings. So
Hang on one
this might be
second.
time to decide how many of them are coming with us.
DM to player, Rhiannon. Why can't you ride? Remind me why you can't ride, or are you just saying this is news to him?
Well, I mean, I can't, and so I was gonna.
Meaning you don't know how to ride.
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it. So you'll say that, and he'll say, "You've never been on horseback before."
I grew up somewhere where there are not any horses, so.
I will send one that is as tame as you can possibly imagine. And if any of the rest of your companions, now he's looking around the group, have ever ridden a horse before, looking for nods, perhaps? Anybody nodding? Yes.
Well,
horses?
I've ridden a horse before.
Oh yes.
Then I promise you that the horse that you will be provided will provide you with no trouble whatsoever on the journey. I would never do anything that would put you in danger.
Well, I don't think it would be dangerous. I just think it would be embarrassing. So.
I mean, you could ride behind somebody if that would be easier for you rather than trusting a horse that you don't know, or someone could lead your horse.
Would that be less embarrassing, though? I'm not.
Yes, I don't know.
Don't worry.
I'm
Don't
offering
worry,
it as an
Rhiannon.
option.
Don't worry, Rhiannon. Only the rest of us will be there to see it.
So as you're having this conversation, the contract is being taken out and the next bit is being taken in. looks like a couple of side dishes which are designed to be served before dessert. These are skewers of some sort of a sizzled meat. He'll let you know that it's venison that's done in some sort of a green minty sauce, and sausage rolls, which are sort of savory rolls filled with a blend of sausage and herbs. Again, anybody not eating this stuff?
I'm a fan of venison, but not less so of mint. So I'll probably have some, but
I think
not more sausage rolls.
I think at this point, Amara will abstain just because I think we've hit kind of the meat threshold for her.
We've hit the meat threshold. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's
entirely
a
reasonable.
saying.
Continuing to take enough to be polite and then pushing it around the plate.
Okay. I mean, maybe he's noticed that, maybe he hasn't, because Joel,
He seems pretty focused on Rhiannon.
Yes. You're not his number one concern here at the dinner table this evening, so who knows what the story is with that. But you were about to answer the question of how many horses do you need. Randy was suggesting you open a horse business and get several dozen. What is the answer?
Well, I mean, one each training wheels horse for me.
Sure.
So that's one each for people seated at the table would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Oh, and
So
Zara and
well, that raises the question: do we want to bring? Does it make sense to bring the children?
Does it raise the
No.
question at the dinner table?
Well, if we're telling him how many horses we need, I think we kind of need to hammer this out now.
All right, hammer away.
So do we think we should bring the kids along, or do we think we want to leave them at Troll Skull?
I think for safety reasons, it would be responsible to leave them at the manor.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. But and does anybody feel differently?
No?
Okay.
I would think that there are probably, this is him jumping in, right? I would think that there are probably retainers there that will help to provide for their safety. And if there's anything you need me to do, I can hire guards or the like if you feel you need them. Do you have a sense of how long you'll be gone?
well, long enough for the meeting and no more, I would hope.
A day,
Meetings.
2.
Yeah.
Should not be long.
You have me at a bit of a disadvantage as it relates to travels to the stars. I don't understand how long any of that really takes.
Me either.
Well, you are assured that the method of transport that awaits us will take us there in sufficient time. So,
Right, so,
I would say a day or two would probably be
Right.
a 2 on the outside. Let's go with that.
Joe? That's it.
No, we don't have a good understanding of exactly how long it's going to take either, but it should be a quick meeting and then we'll be back, hopefully. So a few days.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to having you back soon, he'll say to you, Rhiannon. So 5 horses it is then. Tack and supplies.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
It's excellent.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Again,
Yes.
the least I can do for you. You saved my life. I wish to repay you for that. And Rhiannon, I would be delighted to offer you any assistance that you need. The city can be overwhelming, so I want to be sure to be an appropriate guide and host for you here.
I appreciate it.
Very good. All right, so dessert is now being brought out as you are approaching the end of the meal. And that appears to be a combination between sweet pastries, a variety of pastries filled with fruits and creams, sweet creams of different types, and what looks like candied nuts, glazed with honey and spices. It will, as you think about that, Rhiannon, be apparent to you that your little fuzzy companion would certainly enjoy some of those candied nuts. You know he has a fondness for them.
Oh, how has he been behaving?
Well, he's
not here.
at home.
He's not here. Okay.
Yeah, I talked him into staying behind. He
Mm.
gave me the stink eye, but he did.
I think we covered that ferret is a prude discussion in our last episode. Yes. Okay. So, anything in particular they wish to discuss as you are enjoying a lovely dessert?
Not really. No.
You're not going to throw down?
I don't.
Looks like
I don't
looks
trust
like you might
him
get out of dinner
on some
without
level.
combat.
But like at this point, like as much as that response as to the why, the whole like weird awkward exchange, how much of that was a deflection, clearly. This is not the time or place to get into it, I don't feel like. So then again, I have had two drinks before dinner, the wine and Czar. So who knows?
Feeling good.
Well, feeling okay. Feeling floaty, emotionally probably still a little grumpy.
You had a fine meal. Like this
I did
dinner
have a fine
was
meal. This was a nice
delightful.
meal. This is a nice meal. He's helping us. I can bite my tongue. I can bite my tongue as much as I might want to like be like, yo. What the
Reining
heck?
it in.
I am reining it in.
Okay, fair enough. So
It should
let me
reins
ask
me to
this.
do so.
Let me ask this question of you then, each. On a scale of 1 to 10, how snookered are you? Joel?
0.
Okay, because you're like, I spit it out into the plants.
No, I put it to my mouth and tipped a little bit, but I haven't actually let anything into my mouth.
Okay, wow. You're the only one who's famished.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm working. I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, got it. No, it's next for me. Okay. Randy, how about you? Scale of 1 to 10. How snookered are you?
Tormodust was lost, so lost in tunnels dark and caverns deep. When trolls and goblins
hearing a
did
9.
cross the snowman from his keep. But lo, what heroes did arrive to save this handsome man with fire? 'Tis the awesome Isekai 5, that hardy party all soon will admire.
And what's hilarious is that's a 2 for Randy.
Too
Yeah,
bad.
you know what? Randy doesn't need
Amazing.
much to burst out into song. That's fair.
I love that, Randy. I love that. Have you met the Gooey Cube guys ever? Because the Gooey Cube guys, the folks who run Gooey Cube that did this fantastic I don't know, Melton the Troll song or something like that at Gen Con that they made technical Chris and I sing, and it was hilarious. I think you and he are sort of like soulmates. And need to totally hang out. And you also need to record that and put it into those extras that you talked about that are available on the Discord.
We'll absolutely clip it.
I want the Randy Bard song. So
Wrote it,
fairly
as we were chatting just now. So
Yes. fairly loose. Randy's fairly loose. Eric, yourself, scale 1 to 10.
Sure, my mic is still working. Oh, yes, okay. I have a pretty decent tolerance, so I'm just kind of relaxed and maybe apt to say something foolish, but I'm doing my best to avoid that. I would like to engage Tormel in some like basic conversation about like his family, where he comes from, what kind of magic he prefers, that kind of stuff. You know?
Okay.
There's definitely
Mostly
an issue with your
being
mic.
Yeah, mostly being polite, not really not going too deep into it.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
so you're sitting at about a 5 in terms of like your level of inebriation, and he'll happily tell you, grew up in Waterdeep, and in terms of magic, he's all over the place. He's a generalist wizard. He'll give you the sort of like, let me explain wizards to you, and
Sure,
some
and
wizards choose to specialize.
I'm setting the stage for him to do that.
Okay.
Like, he's obviously comfortable doing that. I'm just gonna let him do that.
Fascinating. Tell us more.
Yeah, so he'll fill you in on that kind of stuff. And so lastly, Rhiannon, where are you on that scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, 3-4, I think, because I'm not as lightweight as I once was in college, but I'm still fairly lightweight. But I've been eating a lot, and watching that I don't do the like wine glass that never empties because the servant's refilling, like I'm counting. So
Gotcha.
still 3-4.
Okay,
You don't want me to take a stab at a number?
He is a nobleman, and one of the things that noblemen do is drink and know things. So he has been drinking like a fish throughout the course of the evening, but he doesn't seem like he's terribly inebriated despite the fact that he's been drinking like a fish. So you two are sitting at about the same level, which I'll call a 4.
Okay. Did you want me to take a stab at a number, or? You
oh yes, terribly sorry, I skipped you. I
yeah,
needed to come to you last.
I was waiting.
Okay. So is that number above 10 at all? It goes up to 11.
Okay. So I need some some reference here. It's like, are we talking like between stone cold sober and like blackout drunk? Is that the 10, or
I would say
a
1. I would say a 1 is you've tasted alcohol, but it's got no effect on your system. And a 10 is if you needed the bathroom, you wouldn't be sure that it wasn't the corner over there. So that's your scale.
I don't think I'm at a 10.
All right, good call.
But I'm probably at like a 7 or 8.
Okay. I'll lean you in the direction of the 8, given your saltiness. So you're feeling friendly and loose. And, we'll see if that gets anything interesting to happen later. Okay.
So clearly elves are superior to humans. So elf scale goes up to 12, right?
I mean...
elf scale, you might argue, as it relates to alcohol, might go lower than humans.
Look, I've seen Lord of the Rings. I've seen Lord of the Rings.
With the dwarven scale going up to 12, or maybe even 15.
I do have a constitution of 16.
Okay. So as elves go, you're a pretty good drinker.
Which is great, because in real life, I am a cheap date.
Okay, good to know. All right.
So my elf physiology has apparently given me a bit of a boost, actually.
Jumping in and helping you in a whole host of ways. Okay. So you are clearly arriving at what is sort of the end of a reasonably pleasant evening of dinner and conversation. And you'll notice that Hormel, who was been paying primary attention to Rhiannon all night, is now paying almost exclusive attention to Rhiannon, and they've sort of devolved into this very comfy little conversation where they're kind of leaning in conspiratorially with each other. That's a touch awkward for you, Eric, because you're a little close to it, little closer to it than you would probably prefer to be. But you're seated right next to her, so you're kind of like can overhear the things that are being said between the two of them.
It's fine.
And I'm stuck between the drunk elf and the canoodling couple. Okay.
I just want to check in with Rhiannon and make sure that she's good with all this, like a solid friend would.
Well, let's see what.
And I could do that by like patting her on the shoulder and going, "Hey, you cool with Mage Splainer over there?"
Hey. No need for that.
Is that
yes,
a yes?
I'm fine. Yes.
Excellent.
There's no need for any kind of meddling in either direction. Thank you.
Great. Just watching out for you. That's all.
All right. So you're having that conversation. He's leaning into you, Rhiannon, sort of like, leaning forward, smile on his lips as the conversation is winding down. And he will say, Rhiannon, I confess, tonight's company has been even far more delightful than I anticipated. It's rare that I find myself in the presence of such captivating conversation. His eyes are lingering on yours. Any immediate response to that?
Well, I think I'm like, oh, okay, take the compliment gracefully, but I'm ungraceful at being complimented, as many are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to freeze up, and then sort of like shake out of it.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
Just say, I agree. I really appreciate the invitation. Probably the others would probably be getting back to check with the nanny about the kids. And I'm going to sort of like look at them like, yeah, you got to leave, don't you?
Yes, he'll say, when it's clear that you are trying to send that signal to them. I understand that your friends will no doubt wish to return to their lodgings, but if the hour isn't too late for you, and should you desire a quieter moment to reflect, you're welcome to stay a little bit longer. I'd be honored to share a drink or two more with you in the study.
Well, we
I'm gonna
could
leave.
talk shop, just talk magic, and
Yes,
for
of
the
course,
others.
of course.
There's a certain
I
point.
promise. Oh, do you want to hear him out? Okay. I promise I'll be a perfect gentleman. Sometimes a quiet night away from the cares of the world can be quite illuminating. You think maybe he said that first bit, but he was sending a different signal with that second bit.
Yeah, and
Indeed, I do.
I think it's at a certain point, with the hushed conversation and that whole thing going on. Amara, a bit in 7 or 8, leaning toward Joel, just like, I think it's getting to the point where we might want to take our leave, lest we become an array of third wheels.
And I try to whisper back, maybe not quiet enough. Has there ever been a D&D game where things didn't go badly in this situation like this?
I mean, I had a fun night last night, and I don't see why she can't have a fun
did you?
night tonight.
Okay.
I don't
Okay,
can tell.
I put my
So
hands
you're
on the
whispering
table
around
and stand
to
up.
each other. Yep.
Well, the demands of vigilance are never eased.
What?
It is time to take my leave.
Ah,
And I will
yes,
say
yes,
out loud,
indeed.
paladin voice.
Yes. Thank you for hosting us, Tormil. You have been a most gracious guest.
It has been my absolute pleasure. You'll notice somewhere while all this conversation was going, that must have sent a signal to the manservant because suddenly he's in the room, like he's ready to lead those of you that are about to depart.
This
Go
is
ahead.
like the Forgotten Realms equivalent of being in the Midwest and like patting your knees and going, well,
Well, yeah, I think at that point, Amara will stand up, maybe have that, like, that moment where like someone who's had a little too much, they start to get up and then they just kind of like
Steady
yeah,
themselves.
slip a little bit. She catches herself, but she's like, Thank you again for your hospitality, Tormil, and perhaps in the future our exchanges can be a little more pleasant, personable. No hard feelings. That's what I'm trying to say.
I would hope none. He'll look up. He's kind of locked eyes in intimate conversation with Rhiannon at the moment, but as you're all getting up and you make that statement to him, he'll look up, nod at you, and say, yes, of course.
And then I'll turn and I'll start making my way out. I'm not gonna linger.
All right.
I will offer
Oh.
Amara my arm.
I will take it because
Excellent.
I'm not confident in my ability to walk back to the manor. on
As
my own.
Elric said, the vigilance of the vigilance is vigilant. So, thanks, and
Exactly.
Yes.
I'll leave. I'm done with these guys.
Over my shoulder, I'm just gonna say, Randy voice.
Okay. So you two, Allie and Eric, are making your way towards the door. Allie, relying on Eric's vigilance and titanitude to guide you towards the door.
I'm a very solid presence.
You are. That's
And I'm
titanitude.
keeping
I
my
made that word
balance.
up.
Exactly.
And Randy, you're staggering to your feet, offering a sloshing goodbye to people at the table. Do you, Joel, wish to assist Randy at getting out the door?
If he looks like he needs the help, then yes, I will thank
Based on his
Tormil for his
dialogue, I would-
hospitality and his
I
aid
would
tomorrow.
suggest.
And yes, we will. Will you be joining us in the morning, or will you be sending? Who should we be looking for in the morning?
Okay, he'll look up again from his conversation with Rhiannon to you. No, I wouldn't deign to intervene in something like that. I can send you a guide if you think you need one. I didn't know
What?
that you would.
What? Outdoors?
No, he's an adventurer.
Yeah, I know. I know. It was just kind of funny to.
Now
Rim
it's
him a
just
little
being
bit.
saucy. Yeah.
So, So who would we be looking for in the morning?
The horses will arrive and I assume be handled by whomever the manservant is that is handling affairs at Trollskull Manor. If you want me to send if you want me to send a guide, I can. But again, do you need one?
I'm sure we shall not require a guide. Thank you.
Then the horses shall be awaiting you. 5 in number.
Mm-hmm.
That was said in the tone of "Get the hell out."
I am going to mentally convey over to Amara, who is holding my arm.
Yes.
Yep.
You did a really good job.
I
Not-
did.
Not getting real salty there, and I
Oh,
want
God,
to
I
acknowledge
wanted
you.
to. I wanted
know
to
you
so
did.
badly.
I know.
I'm proud of me.
Atta girl.
Okay. So, is it safe to say that 4 of the 5 of you are headed towards the front doors of this place?
Mhm.
Joel,
Yep.
uncomfortable.
I mean,
I.
Joel's
Yes.
still pushing food around on the plate.
I'm sorry, Joel.
I still
I'm
got
sorry.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I
no,
don't usually
I'm
drink, but that
assisting.
almond stuff, it just snuck up on me. It's so good.
Yeah, so I am
God.
helping Randy back out to. Are we walking back or do we get a carriage ride back?
Your carriage is waiting you outside.
Probably a good
Oh,
idea.
perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I will
Right.
add to Elric. If Illyr were here, she would have found some clever and subtle way to emasculate him in front of everyone, I'm sure. So I'm glad that I didn't go that route, because that would have been bad.
Yes, you are not her, and you don't need to be.
I'm not trying to be.
Good.
Good.
I have never thought of you as being similar to her. I think you are your own person.
Thank you. I didn't. I
Look,
wasn't worried about that.
I'm just referring to how your body turned out. That's all.
Well, yes, but we know that was the bitch up here.
Look, don't read into
that-
it.
Oh. Mm.
It's fine. I'm
Okay.
telling you I appreciate you. That's all.
But God, lust, really, like, what does that say about me? What does that say about me? I don't know. I don't think I like it.
Don't worry. You are a wonderful, valid, good person.
Okay. You guys are like
drink some water.
Hmm.
Yeah.
you're like a buddy cop drama. I love.
And
I
you
love
need
the
some water, definitely, and some carbs.
Get some bread. It'll help
bread.
soak up the alcohol.
Like she at the mention of carbs, she's like, oh,
Oh,
you
bread. Yeah.
know, if we can find some of those. I wish we'd taken some of those little pastries. Those were so good. Those little pastries were so.
Let's see if
good.
Randy put some in his pockets.
I don't know if I
Well-
want something that's been sitting around in anyone's pockets, really. Nothing against
Good call,
Randy's
good call.
pockets.
But yeah. So you're now sort of outside because the manservant will see you out of the front and the door will close behind you. Leaving Joel feeling a little like, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
And you will see that as you exit the place, your carriage will roll up to the front of the place. There it is. It's almost as like he's been waiting all night for you to emerge. And he will hop down, the gentleman who runs this carriage, and open the door for you to be able to go inside. And if you don't tell me otherwise, the 4 of you will do just that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to glance
Alright.
back to make sure the building's not yet on fire. All right.
So far,
Yeah.
no fire. And
I'm
that
glad.
is where we will take our break.
All right. Good. Violence did not erupt. Excellent. I'm proud of us.
I
We
can
did a good
behave.
job.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
And we are back from our break, and it is lovely to see you, Rhiannon. I am glad that you are feeling a little bit better and that you are able to join me on camera for this little scene. So, when last we left our heroes, they had finally gotten the idea and gotten out the front door of this place. And so now it was just you. Oh, you saw Joel eyeing you the whole time, like continuing to look over his shoulder, like, you sure? And as Tormel noted that they were clearing out, he was sort of getting himself ready to get up. And while he's doing that, and you're sort of engaged in whatever internal pondering you're engaged in, the person, for want of a better term, that has been quiet all night will chirp in when it has its moment to do that. It starts with sort of like a weary sigh, world-weary sigh. And it will say, if this is something that you wish to pursue, you can rest assured that I'll turn my gaze away for the remainder of the evening. As I've made abundantly clear, I'm not lust, so I have no desire whatsoever to be a witness to anything of the sort. Is that internal or external chuckling?
That's internal.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm no exhibitionist, or I'd say you should definitely stay just to annoy you. But I would buzz off if I were you. Just saying.
Gladly. And then you have this feeling. You've had it a couple of times before. It's been pouty before, remember? Where it just like chose not to speak to you for a period of time to try to get the message through that, like, you have that same sort of sense of absence from it in this instance. You believe that it is, however it does this, turned its eyes away from you in this moment. Okay, so DM to player. Is there anything I need to know about your strategic plans? Or do you just want to surprise me with whatever you've got? You're going to stab him in the neck. Kick it off, you bad. Time to kill this guy. I can handle anything you throw at me, but I'm just wondering, is there anything as a DM I should be aware of before we go into this encounter?
Not particularly. I mean, I was not treating this like a D&D game.
Good.
So, no stabbing, no poisoning,
Excellent. So. All right. You're not going to move your food around your plate. That's not your plan.
No.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So we shall move forward. So Tormil, once he's gotten the nod from his manservant that your friends are on their merry way, will turn to you and say, I'm delighted you decided to stay, Rhiannon. I don't often have the pleasure of such interesting company. And he'll stand up and offer his arm to you to guide you through the rest of the building. Okay. Joel, I will need you to mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So let me... He's on it.
Okay.
Let me know when you've succeeded, and then we'll go back and... Also, Rhiannon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a PG-13 channel, so we're only going to get so spicy here.
Draw the curtain at some point.
We might get a little, so just, FYI. Okay. All right, so Allie, let me know how you want to deal with the whatever there. Like a clap, what do you want to get us back in? Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Yeah, no coordination. Okay. All right, sorry about that. We're back. A little bit of extraneous noise we had to tamp down on there. So he offers you his arm to lead you through the house. I assume you will take it?
Yep.
You'll find you're steady on your feet, but maybe a stitch more inebriated than you thought you were. There'll be a little moment. You've got sort of that feeling of warmth that you get when you've got like a little bit of a buzz. And you're not unsteady on your feet, but you also haven't stood up in a long time. And so now you're standing up for the first time. But he is there to guide you. As I said, he's a stalwart drinker, so he's not terribly inebriated himself. And as he sort of like guides you through the house towards the upstairs, the manor itself grows pretty quiet. It's pretty clear that his manservant is somewhere about, but retreated to a discreet distance, and that the cook staff, the folks that were actually putting on dinner and serving it for all of you, must have bundled themselves off before such time as your friends left, because now it's just sort of like, okay, much quieter in here than I recall being before. The flicker of candlelights from the chandeliers is off the walls, casting shadows. And as you pass the downstairs sitting room, Emerald, the friendlier of the two cats, will come out and sort of weave its way between your legs, like sort of to sort of give you a nudge, as it is clearly headed towards the now unoccupied dining room. And you'll also notice, sort of from behind Emerald, is Sapphire, the white cat, who spares you a cold, almost disdainful glance and is swishing her tail actively in what is clear displeasure as she saunters by you, giving you both a wide berth as you go by. You'll notice that Tormel has noticed this and will give a little chuckle, but otherwise won't respond to the cat's antics. So if you say nothing about it, that will go unremarked upon.
Well, I mean, when Sapphire goes by, I'm going to ask, she's not going to come for me. Scratches from behind, right?
Then he'll laugh about that. She is saucy, but I've never seen her attack anyone.
Okay. Because I have cats at home, and so I'm willing to give her respect. I just,
She considers herself to be the mistress of the house. He'll say with a little bit of a chuckle. And her tail will swish her way into the also unoccupied dining room. So he'll lead you up the staircase, spiral staircase, to the second floor, and once again into the study, which is the room that you were in before, which is, as he mentioned to you, sort of like the place that he considers to be the jewel of his house. He'll gesture you inside. There is now a roaring fire going on in here, and that makes it pretty warm in this room because it's summer. It's summer night, and you're on the coast, so there are summer breezes and that sort of thing, but it's summer. And there's a roaring fire in this room, and it's not that big. Almost as if the room is designed to be comfortable, regardless of how much
clothing.
you're wearing. Yeah. And so someone must have stoked that fire and put it in there. There is also a love seat, small couch, positioned by the fire that looks particularly inviting, and he will motion to it gracefully. Please make yourself comfortable.
Before I sit down, is the snake still hanging out in here?
The snake is still hanging out in here. Its perch is now further away from the center of the room where it was before, and sort of tucked back behind the desk that dominates one corner of this room. And it seems to be fairly quiescent, like its eyes are closed and it's curled tightly around the thing. So it might be sleeping, but it is still in this room. Is that a problem for you in any way?
Well, I mean, I'm going to look toward it and say, your snake, is it?
Yes.
Well,
Jade, he'll say.
Yes. Is she your familiar?
His eyes will sparkle a little bit when you say that. And he will say, of a sort. Traditional familiars render wizards vulnerable in ways that I choose not to be rendered vulnerable, but it is possible to imbue a otherwise normal animal with a trace of sentience, and therefore secure a lasting relationship with it. Does that make sense? He's guiding you over towards the love seat, as he's saying.
I'll go over to the love seat. I was just sort of, I don't really want an animal with opinions of its own watching. Is the upshot here? Is that
the vibe that you're communicating?
Yeah.
Okay. He will say, I'm fairly certain she's asleep. Okay. She spends most of her day sleeping. I think she's older than both of us.
Oh. I didn't know snakes got that old.
He'll put his hands up like,
tortoises do.
Yeah, yes, you ate some of those at dinner. He won't say that.
Yeah,
so,
my not familiar that's not a familiar but is also sapient or sentient or whatever, it disproves. Not that matters, but so that's where I'm coming
Disapproves
from.
of your visit here this evening?
Yes.
Well, but I'm a gentleman. I met your familiar, not familiar, perhaps overly familiar, not familiar. And so you'll have to make a point to communicate back to him how well things went.
Okay.
I don't want to be despised by someone's familiar, not familiar.
Well, there we go. Well, he doesn't need to know everything. He's not here. He's not watching.
Indeed, this is true. So he'll ring a little bell, like crystal bell, and he will say, allow me to get you something else to drink. Why don't we make ourselves comfortable? And he'll sit down on the right-hand side of that little love seat in front of the fire. Damn it! Hot here! And very shortly thereafter, like literally moments, almost as if this was prepared, his manservant Sarask will make his way up from the first floor to the second floor and sort of smoothly glide into the room. He has, again, 2 delicate crystal goblets. These look like almost like champagne flutes, but they contain a fair amount of alcohol. So they're not delicate champagne flutes, they're pretty deep champagne flutes. And they have this sort of bubbly, almost rosy colored, that's probably that elven wine that people have given you before. If you've seen it enough times now, I think twice, that you can get a sense of what it is. And so this is the top shelf stuff. The top shelf stuff has been brought out. Now that those plebes are gone.
Yeah,
you know,
the Yahoos
top
don't
shelf
get the good
stuff.
wine.
Yeah. So, and he will bring it over, the manservant, and Tormil will take 1 glass first, handing it to you, and take the other glass for himself, and his manservant will subtly back out of the room. Do you want to try it? He'll immediately take a sip out of his
I'm
own.
not going to down it, but
Zhoosh! Okay. All right. It is delightful. You've had it before, and it is extremely flavorful. It's this lovely combination of sweet, and light, and bubbly and refreshing. It's great. It really is delightful wine. And so there's alcohol in it, for sure. But it feels safe to drink, right? Like it's the kind of thing that feels reasonably safe to drink, such that he will down half of his glass before pausing to sip the rest of it. So I assume you'll have some measure of it, but perhaps less than he's drinking. Okay. So he's in the seat beside you, and his body language is sort of like casual but intentional, and he's sipping, and he'll turn his gaze to you and he will say, I hope Amara took my apology in the spirit in which it was intended. Adventurers can be a proud lot, and I hope she isn't overly so.
I can't quite predict it. If it wasn't entirely what she was hoping for, then that's on her, not you, I think. She was not always as she is now, and I think that she's still getting used to being herself. And so when you're finally being yourself, anybody who doesn't seem to understand that is, I think, harder to bear. And I think that's why she reacted more than anything.
He'll nod sagely as you're sort of making these remarks.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, well, again, I reacted hastily and assumed some things based on my association with noble women that perhaps weren't true in this case. And so to the extent that you could convey my apologies there as well, I would also not like to be despised by your companions.
Well, I mean, one can only try. We're a weird bunch.
He will chuckle at that. He finds you funny. I mean, not only because naturally that's true, but also, But enough about your friend. I find myself quite curious about you, Rhiannon. He's swirling his ElverQuest in its glass, light catching the golden liquid inside. Tell me, is there anyone waiting for you back home? A man, perhaps? Or someone you hold dear adventuring alongside you? It's hard to imagine someone as capable and as beautiful as you journeying without a companion.
Well, thank you. I don't adventure at home. And so for a quieter life, I have been more involved in making that quiet life what I want it to be than finding the person to experience it with me as of yet. And then I was drawn here against my will and thrown together with this set of friends, and it's been sort of one thing after another since then. I don't hate adventuring, but I'm certainly not somebody who perhaps I'm different from you in that respect. I don't know. I don't crave it like some do. It's necessary sometimes, but I don't sort of sit at home and think, oh, I wish I was out,
He'll chuckle a bit when you say that. I've pursued adventure because, as I told you once before, it is a faster route to power than simply studying in one's library. He'll gesture around. It is unfortunate. You get the impression he's not really thinking it's unfortunate that you don't have someone waiting for you at home. The world can be such a lonely place for people like us, can't it? We wield great power. Magic that sets us apart from the common folk. They look at us not with understanding, but with fear, or worse, they see us as tools, something to be used for their own gain.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's
I got a reaction on that one.
Yeah, it's clear you're connecting with that. And he'll lean in, his voice becoming sort of like a whisper, almost intimate. It's a heavy burden we carry alone, unless we find others like ourselves, those who understand the gift and the curse of power. Shouldn't we then make common cause, share our thoughts, our struggles, our deeper selves with those who seek the same path?
Before we go too much further, I should say that a night of fun is one thing, but the being used leads to entanglements that would probably reach out and grasp anybody to near me for more than a night. And so not to like totally kill the mood for a single night, but I feel like I should at least let you know. So I don't remember the style of the dress, but the mark, I feel like I'd have to sort of like at least kind of pull the dress off a little.
You wore something that was, attractive but understated. You weren't trying to be overly, dramatic. So you would need to. And remember, it doesn't illuminate unless you want it to.
I mean, I'm illuminating it.
Okay.
So, and I'm gonna wait. Like, I'm gonna see if he like picks up the Asmodeus like part of it, or like what his reaction is, before anything. So
you'll say that. You'll note that he's nodding along, and he's got an expression on his face that's very sort of sympathetic, and not at all thrown by anything that you're saying. He's sort of rapidly interested, and he's doing his best to kind of lean in a bit, right? So as to create a degree of intimacy between the two of you. And then you'll start moving aspects of your clothing, and you'll notice he'll zero in on that. And then as you're making that statement, you'll illuminate the mark. And he reacts a little bit surprised, like he wasn't necessarily expecting you to suddenly have something on your chest, right? But he is more fascinated than he is in any way like put off by the existence of that symbol. And in fact, he'll sort of give like a little, I wouldn't say, it's somewhere between a gasp and a purr. Huh? Okay. Sort of a wizard, whatever, like, like however wizards reply to things that look powerful, right? And he will say in a very direct and serious tone to you, if you think I am intimidated by any power you may possess or put off by any entanglements that come with such power, you would be very, very wrong. You get the impression this is attractive to him.
Yeah, I did.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't. Well, I mean, I should have expected that. I don't know that I did. I would rather be out of this entanglement personally, but I'm glad that you don't feel. I got sucked in, and this power. I'm specifically going to like touch the part that's Asmodeus part.
So you are trying to draw his eye to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus the other parts. I was offered magic like I could be so easily bought. And
roll 20-sided die for me.
Okay. I had it set up. Where'd I put it? Here it is. I don't have my personal dice here. 3? Oh wait, 3 is good. 3 is good? I don't know.
3. Oh wait, 3 is good. 3 is good. Yeah. It's clear that he is picking up what you are putting down in the sense of if you are attempting to show this to him in a way where he understands the symbol that he's looking at. Yeah, it's clear that he understands the symbol that he's looking at, and you're speaking as he's doing that, and his eyes are kind of glittering at you like, I'm interested in hearing this. So you were saying, I offered me power as a sort of like,
yeah, like I could be bought with it. And it's really a morass, I will say.
He will put a hand on your shoulder. He's now got his left hand, on the side of you that you have exposed some skin on. And he will say, Rhiannon, are you a warlock?
No, but it might not be so different than that.
You will find no judgment from me in this matter. Power is power. I understand that full well.
But I don't want it.
I did not ask to be born with the art inside of my blood, but here we are. We take those gifts that are given to us and we do what we can to make our way in the world with them. Do we not?
True. It's not going to be solved tonight anyway. I do wonder if that's what you felt.
Now there is a second hand on your other shoulder. And he is no more than 1.5 feet away from your face. And you are saying, I sort of wonder if that's what you felt. Possibly. It would explain much. But it's only in the company of others like ourselves that we truly find peace, a place where we can be ourselves free of judgment. That's a come-on line, Rhiannon. In case you don't need me to tell you that.
No.
Let me put it to you this way. There's probably a couple more lines coming your way, but he's getting closer, and he is going to make a move unless you do something to stop him.
Well, I mean, unless I do it first. So hand on one of his hands. I'm going to say, so do you know how I do that again? When I first met you and we touched? Is that something I can replicate?
He will smile. Wider than you thought human beings could do. And he will say, I do not know, for it is your power and not mine, but I am interested in finding out.
That wasn't
We are
actually
picking up.
on camera.
Oh,
But
yeah, okay, I understand. I got that. Okay, so you're finding that you're sitting here in front of this fire. You're buzzing on this lovely beverage that you've been drinking. Fire is really hot. Now you're warm in another way. So you're going 3 for 3 on
Yep.
this one. And this thing's about to happen. And so he will just, sparkle in his eyes, sort of lean in and kiss you. Return with
Yep,
equal
return.
enthusiasm? Okay.
Yeah.
He's clearly pleased, right? That this just rolled out the way that it did. You get the impression from him that he expected that you were perhaps more demure than you ended up being in this moment, and that he would need to sort of work around the edges and, move your hair out of your face and blah, blah, blah. But you just met him where he was on the field, so to speak, and he's throwing a fair amount of passion at you. You guys are in the study. There's a comfortable rug on the ground in front of that fire. And that's where this is headed. So unless you slow his roll at all, that's where this is headed.
I mean, the snake is in here, and if there's a
Seemingly-
bed next
seemingly
door,
quiescent.
yeah, like dragging him by the hand to the door before any more clothes come off seems like something that might be tried.
Okay, so if you try to move him up from the ground, because he's going to get on his knees in front of you, and he's going to start kissing you, and he's going to kind of draw you off of the couch towards the ground, and if your goal is to try to get him up at that point in time, he'll be mildly puzzled, and so you'll have to explain what you're up to.
You got a bedroom in here, dude?
He will say, yes, but there isn't fire burning in it. Is there something now? He's like, oh, wait a minute. Am I going to be in trouble here? Is there something that you need?
Just
Tell me what you want.
Beds are comfortable.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, indeed. All right. And so he will, lead you out of the room. Okay. And he's, okay. Headed down the hallway to the bedroom, which is the dominant room on the end of at the end of this hallway on the second floor. You're passing it sort of as you go on the right, what looks like a sort of like bathroomy / almost like a sauna-y type of room for bathing and relaxation. But that's mostly it on the second floor of the house. And so the servants' quarters and that sort of thing must be downstairs somewhere smaller in the basement, if this place has a basement, which Waterhabian houses, many of them do have basements. And he'll open the door to his bedroom. It is pitch dark in there because, again, he was expecting that this would roll out on the, delightful rug in front of the fire. And he will speak a word of magic, and a globe, which is sort of hovering near the door, near the ceiling, will sort of come to life with a bit more than candlelight, so sort of at the same level of intensity as the fire in the fireplace. And he'll speak another word. It's sort of like moonlighty colored. He'll speak another word, and that color of the light will change from the color of moonlight to the color of the fire, going merrily in the hearth, so that it gives the same sort of ambiance. He has like a large 4-poster bed in an almost Tudor style, right? With sort of curtains hung around it. There's windows shuttered, so this can look out onto the street or to the gardens, wherever it is, but the windows are shuttered at this particular moment. And there are wardrobes around the room, and there's a dressing table, and there's a chair, a big comfortable chair in front of the dressing table. But it's clear he probably doesn't spend a lot of his life in this particular room. Like, he sleeps, he leaves it to do other things. So while it looks comfortable, it's more utilitarian than it is really comfortable.
Sure.
And it is a bit cooler in here. than it was in the previous room. So,
Is there wood in the hearth?
There is.
Okay.
Do you have mastery over fire?
I mean, I was just looking at my cantrips. I assume that one of the fire cantrips could like do that without sort of doing the fireball in the fireplace, which is unnecessary.
Yes, I suspected that would probably be the case. So he's going to go over towards the bed and try to clean it, like, toss the sheets around and move the things out of the way, because clearly it wasn't planning to be in here. And while he's doing that, you'll wander over to his hearth and light his fireplace with a burst of magic. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that like I can figure it out, and then I'm gonna wait till I have his attention to do it. Because showing off, what's the point if you're not observed?
Yeah, right. Entirely. Okay. So you'll see as you do that he will eye you greedily. He's eyeing you greedily for a couple of reasons. One, you have fire at your fingertips, and two, he was eyeing you greedily before you guys came into this room. And he's closed the door to the bedroom, so like it's shut off from the rest of the house. So it's now just sort of you and he in here. And he'll cross the distance to you pretty quickly, put a hand in the small of your back and guide you over to the bed. He has assumed control of this situation.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
I don't have to feel like the snake is watching me, and so we're good now.
We're good. That creepy snake is not paying attention to me, so we're all set. So I'll give you a little bit of narration. We'll go into sort of like a third-person mode on this, right? And unless you have something specific that you want to say somewhere along the way, assume that it's not an overly vocal experience. But Tormil's strength is undeniable, and he guides you clearly from place to place, flickering light from the fire that you've now lit in this fireplace and the warmth from it coming out to slowly fill the room. He's very sure of himself. His every motion is deliberate. Every touch is calculated to stoke any fire of passion that might be growing inside of you. And the world beyond the walls of this room seems to fade away a little bit as the two of you are becoming lost in the moment. Throughout the experience, which unless you stop it goes on for a while.
The only thing is that nothing that would have pregnancy danger. That's the only thing that
you will.
But there's plenty still on the menu.
Guide him away from that sort of a thing. Throughout the experience, you'll feel your sort of like own inner fire responding, right? And you'll be surprised to some degree by the sort of like depths of your passion. Not that you aren't attracted to this man, not that you aren't capable of exhibiting passion, but you've been a little muted in your responses since you arrived in this world. This has been one unpleasant experience after another. And so in the way that sometimes people who experience sort of like death, right, find themselves seeking life, and sex pleasure is a way of affirming that life in the wake of that, you'll find that your passion is responding fairly strongly to him. And you'll get this surge of heat from deep within you, making your skin burn with a warmth that rivals the fire. And you're thinking to yourself, this isn't just my normal reaction to this situation. Whatever's inside of me is also responding. And that you'll start to feel reasonably certain about when you notice that your hair begins to float gently at the end. He has not noticed this because he is laser focused on doing the job here. Drifting, and it's like sort of drifts upward as if it's caught in like a light breeze, although there's no wind, just the currents of air coming from the fire. And the sensation is like almost surreal, the heat of the moment mingling with the heat that's always lurking beneath your skin from the fire that sort of like is always inside of you. And you kind of wonder, is this just the roaring flames playing a little bit of a trick with me, or is there something else I should be needing to know about my own internal, temperature in these situations? But the passion itself feels quite real and quite consuming. You're throwing yourself into this in a way that I don't know you personally, Rhiannon, but that, perhaps you haven't for a while because you pointed out, I'm not prioritizing X over Y.
Correct.
Tormil throughout remains in control, never too forceful, yet clearly in control of the situation. His passion is raw, hot, and focused on you. There's one thing conspicuously absent throughout this entire experience, and that is the presence of that mark. It seems to have honored its promise, leaving you free to experience this moment without its interference. And its absence only heightens the sensation of you being fully present in the moment, because now you don't need to think about it in your head. You don't need to think about that snake staring at you, and you can just sort of do this, right? Lost in the passion and embrace of somebody who desires you. You feel yourself alive, truly alive, for the first time since you arrived in the realms. So there's a lot going into this. After some time passes, you find yourself in the bed, which is very comfortable, by the way, even more comfortable than the bed that you have back at Trollskull Manor. This is clearly some sort of a feather bed, and it's also got silken sheets, which are of the same dark green color that seems to favor, or that House Gost seems to favor. And you're in bed, fire crackling softly in the distance, your skin still warm from the passion that you've shared. And for a moment, everything just sort of feels blissfully still, your mind floating in comfortable quiet. Tormo, however, is already moving beside you, getting up from the bed, stirring with sort of like easy grace, reaching for the tunic that he dropped on the ground and pulling it back over his head. He seems to be kind of returning to his normal, calm, buttoned-up self, right? Like he put the barriers down and was this, truly passionate, intense creature, and he's sort of putting the wizard's concentration back on, and he will smile back down at you and say, "You're welcome to stay the night, of course. Though I should warn you," he says, sort of eyes glinting in the light, "I may not be able to resist myself distracting you again, and you've got an early morning with your journey. I wouldn't want to keep you from your much-needed rest, not with the travels you have planned." And he's got a goblet with what appears to be water in a pitcher that he's pouring, sort of like probably for you, since there was much sweatiness. And so do you have some sort of immediate response to that?
I think I'm a little taken aback because I was expecting this would be me, and then he got there first. And so I'm a little like, but wait, you can't kick me out, I'm leaving.
Damn you, that. Got it. So you were planning on the hit and run scenario, and then...
Well, no, I was planning on the, like, maybe a bit of a nap, and then, like, taking off.
Gotcha.
But I think, like, I'm not going to be, like, just, like, pulling on my clothes and, like, booking it out of there. Sort of, like, being, like, languid about it a little bit. Definitely need the water because of the alcohol, too. Mm-hmm. But not, like, jumping up just yet.
Gotcha. But you'll signal in your behavior and in your demeanor that you understand that you've transitioned from this passionate, intimate moment to a more reserved one. And so you didn't say one way or another whether you would be leaving, but as he hands you the goblet, he'll say, so if you'd rather head back to your friends tonight, I can have my carriage prepared for you.
Yeah, I think so. And this is going to sound silly, but to bribe my not familiar, can I get some of those candied nuts that we had for dessert?
I assume that Sapphire and Emerald haven't cleaned me out of house with them. They are never very much about anything that isn't meat. And so I will make sure that my manservant prepares them for you. As I did mention before, I'm also, remember, happy to help you with anything else you need for your journey in addition to the horses and supplies. But let me fetch my manservant. The night is young, though, if you care to tarry. And he's headed towards the door to the room.
I'd probably better get some sleep.
Okay.
Leave something for other nights.
he will nod at you, and you will find yourself alone in the room. Okay, so you're in his bed. It's a nice, as I said, luxurious bed. Lots of pillows, silken sheets and whatnot. The fire that you created is roaring and keeping this room reasonably well done in here. There are Gost family symbols all over the furniture, blah, 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 including those big wardrobes, etc., etc. He's going to be gone for a few moments at least, if you wanted to root through his unmentionables.
No, I'm just going to get dressed.
Okay. All right. So you will take the opportunity to dress yourself back in the things that you were dressed in before. He will return in short order. Discover that you'll see he's a little surprised that you got fully dressed in the time in which he was out of the room. But he doesn't seem as though he is crushed or disappointed about that, just shocked. You know, like you made that point, like, I was going to do this, but he hit first, but then you hit first with the getting completely different. So he's like, so it's a back and forth dance here. And he will say, excellent, the carriage is prepared for your departure, my lady. And he will put his hand out to guide you downstairs if you choose to go with him.
Yes, but before the whole like buttoned up arm in arm noble bullshit, proper goodbye kiss.
Yep. So at this moment, as opposed
to downstairs where the carriage driver can see.
All right, he will return it with passion, and you will see that for a moment there is the contemplation of you not departing, before he visibly reins it in, and breaks the what was now multiple kisses, started as one and turned into 3 or 4 long ones, and he'll take a deep steadying breath and then begin to head you back down the stairs. And he'll say, as you're moving conversationally down the stairs, while I did not feel exactly the same thing that I felt when we first touched each other downstairs, I can assure you that your touch was extremely passionate and distracting.
Well, this is the best I felt since we've been here, but it's a low bar, so I hesitate to say that to you.
Well, I am happy to be able to provide you with the comfort and company of a like-minded soul, and am eager to do so again as soon as I can. So
yeah,
now you're headed down the
kiss
stairs.
Was a promise for later, not a temptation. That is a tease, rather.
I shall take it as both. So you're headed down the stairs. You'll note that Sapphire is seated in that spot that clearly is one that she enjoys, sort of right at the edge of the stairs where she can look upon the whole house from that particular vantage point. And she'll glance up at you as you pass. And it's a combination of contempt and triumph, right? Little bit of both of those things, like,
I'm leaving.
But you're out. So that's a plus. Sort of radiating from her. And as you come downstairs, coming from the kitchen, headed towards you, will be Emerald, who will once again do a leg bump rub on the way from the kitchen back to that couch that Emerald's particularly fond of in the sitting room. So you've one friend amongst the cats here in the house. Sarask, the manservant, will come from the kitchen with a small bag, looks to be like a satchel, sort of like paper, right, tied together with twine, that clearly contains the nuts that you've asked for as an offering to your not familiar or too familiar. And he will hand them to you. Madame, he'll say.
Thank you.
Okay. You'll be guided to the front door, and Tormel sort of taking your hand in his, lifting it to his lips and giving a passionate and lengthy, like, kiss and hold, as he says what he wants to say to you when you're departing, where Sarask is opening the door and you can clearly see the Gost family carriage is pulling up to the front. I'll be eagerly awaiting your return, Rhiannon. The city will be a little duller without you, but I trust you'll come back to me unharmed and stronger for your travels.
Here's hoping. I look forward to it.
As do I. take care of yourself out there, won't you? And know I'll be thinking of you. And he'll let go of your hand at that. You are now free to escape this place. Do you wish to do so, beating a hasty retreat out into the...
No, I'll get in the carriage.
Okay, so you will do exactly that. Carriage door will close behind you, and you'll find yourself clopping through the streets on your way north to where Troll Skull Manor lies. And that is where we'll bring in the rest of our players. Okay, so we're going to cut back about an hour in time, maybe 90 minutes, to where you were all leaving on your carriage headed for Troll Skull Manor before you left Rhiannon behind.
Yep.
So I imagine on the ride, you'd want to chat for a few. So this is me giving you a chance to do that.
Well,
We're touching hands.
I
are
don't
we?
know. Are you touching hands?
Amara's not thinking about it right now.
I mean, there's nobody else in the carriage, so.
I have my arm
It is all of you. just a
around
moment.
Amara in a friendly way to kind of like keep her from slumping over.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
reasonable.
You
That
know,
didn't go so badly.
it didn't. And I'm
No.
happy for Rhiannon. She's had a hard time here, and I'm glad that she found something that makes her happy, at least for now,
Yes.
however long it lasts.
As much as I don't entirely buy the response I got, I can't really begrudge her that.
Joel, you got anything for this situation? Or are you just keeping your assorted to yourself?
Well, I think I figured out what's bothering me. We're in the second edition era, and you know the smooth talking rich guy. There's like a 99% chance he turns out to be some flavor of psychopath. In these stories, I mean, romance D&D wasn't really a thing yet, so you know, I keep waiting for the shoe to drop.
Hmm.
All right, little meta commentary.
I do trust
No,
her
that was
to
out loud
set
in
him on.
character.
I do trust him to. I do trust Rhiannon to set him on fire if necessary.
And the
Yes.
block. Not just him, the whole block.
Probably.
Well, yeah, and she can take care of herself, as we've well established.
Absolutely.
I am confident that should he pull any tricks or anything weird, we'll hear about it tomorrow because there'll be a lot of black smoke on the horizon.
All right. Anything, Randy, you wish to add to that conversation, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. So the four of you will arrive back at Troll Skull Manor. You don't know how long you have before Rhiannon returns, but could be all night. So is your plan to collectively all go to sleep?
Yeah, that's definitely
up.
definitely my plan.
I'm going to
Just to go
check
to
on the
sleep.
boy, obviously.
Zonk, as are the twins.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Amara will at least have the presence of mind to not go to sleep in the fancy dress that she bought.
Get out of that at least, because no one wants that wrinkled.
I know
romance.
so sobered up a little bit on the carriage ride over, and yeah, so she'll just kind of relax and rest, and for once not even really be thinking about or worrying about her little passenger while doing so, because she's still kind of tipsy and feeling actually pretty good at this point.
Excellent. All right, so crashed out as soon as that becomes logically reasonable. So probably
Mhm.
within the 90 minutes that you're waiting for Rhiannon. Randy?
Mhm.
Sleepy time or staying up? You're pretty drunk.
Yeah, I'm passed out.
Okay. You'll notice, it hasn't been obvious to you, but it's becoming obvious now that you have seen hide nor hair of Jamal since your encounter in the moon sphere. She's been conspicuously absent and quiet. You know that had a clear emotional effect on her, and so maybe she's just dealing with it at this particular moment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Joel.
I'm going to make sure that. Actually, Eric, you want to go first?
I
If
would
there's
like
anything.
to. I would like to check on the nanny.
Mhm.
Is
Nanny
she still
is-
up? The tiefling lady. Yep.
She is sleeping in a bed next to the twins.
Okay. She's been very helpful. I'm glad she's with us. And I don't see. I'm just going to sense evil around the twins just to see.
Any evil? No evil that you're sensing.
Okay. I go check in with Joel.
Okay.
So we're the only two who are still, awake and can make sensible choices.
Okay. We'll see.
How are you doing?
I am doing okay.
You seemed a bit wary tonight.
I don't trust coincidences, and like I said in the carriage, the smooth talking rich guy is almost always a psychopath in this era. So,
Fair enough.
or at least a cad at best, which that's Rhiannon's call. But
Are you okay with us going to the Rock?
I still don't like it, but I'm not really seeing a better alternative. Yeah, so I'm with the group.
Okay. Well, we'll do our best.
Yep.
We gotta get out of this place. This is the last thing.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah,
get a
right,
bucket of
children.
water to put next to Randy.
Or maybe just an empty bucket.
Yeah. Two buckets.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Anyway.
So,
All right, we do a little aftercare on our drunken friends.
okay.
Fair
And-
enough.
All right. Once that is done,
Mhm.
I'm at 0 gems and 0 stars right now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ah.
You are. Are you saying that to Eric?
No. This is sorry.
To the
I'm
DM?
split from Eric, so I head down to the kitchen
Mhm.
and I find a bowl.
Mhm.
And I head over to the hearth and I scoop up a bowl full of ashes.
Okay.
And then I head back up to my room and I shut the door.
I have a feeling this is going to a dark place. Let's see.
Well, potentially.
Okay.
We'll see. But
Mhm.
now that I have done my best to fully depower my mark, as far as I
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
I will move in front of the mirror and pull out my pocket knife of earth steel that I brought from home.
Deal.
And I'm going to expose the mark and very quickly draw the knife across it, making sure I hit both edges and hitting the symbols of all 3 gods. I am trying to break the mark.
So, it doesn't illuminate unless you ask it to.
Right.
So you're speculating on its specific, precise location if you're just going to go.
Well, no,
unless you
I am-
attempt to luminesce it.
Right. Well, okay. So it's invisible if I don't luminesce it?
That's correct. Unless you all direct it to become visible, it is invisible.
I did not understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
It does you all a
No, I
solid,
do-
so
I
you're
do
not
not-
just branded with it.
Right. I do not call upon its power. In that case, I will just extra, make the mark a little bit wider.
Okay.
To make sure that I hit to try to cut across the whole thing. I'm not going deep. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to deface it.
Okay.
And then I set the knife down, scoop my hand into the bowl of ashes, and rub it in there. I'm trying to get a nice wide, fat scar across it to make sure that it is thoroughly defaced.
I was wrong in my assessment that you and I could still make.
Yeah, tonight's title, The Night of
Yeah.
Bad Decisions.
Wow.
How am I the one who is the most responsible?
Okay.
Ow.
So
So does anything happen?
Joel.
Yes.
Okay. So ouch, blood, ouch, ouch, like stuff in the ouch. That's 3 hit points of damage that you just did to yourself, and the mark does not luminesce, or do anything in defense of itself as you're slashing yourself to do whatever. So mission accomplished? Hard to say.
Maybe we don't know yet.
You don't. But you now have a festering wound that you need to concern yourself with. Do you want to patch that up? Put like some kind
after I
gauze or whatnot on it.
I'll grab some cloth and apply pressure.
So it's not seeping through your tunic tomorrow morning.
Right. It's not a
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shallow cut.
That was a very.
It's not like your buddy in the next room could just like boop and heal it. Right?
I
It's fine.
If he doesn't know it's there, he can't fix it.
Right. I am.
Okay.
No reaction. That's.
Yeah. You'll have to ponder that one on your own. Are you staying up or trying to get some rest?
Well, I'm going to stay up for a bit, applying pressure.
Okay, to get the wound to stop bleeding. Okay, got it. All right, so you'll be up for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, are you waiting for Rhiannon, or assuming she won't be back till the morning and so going to sleep?
How long am I able to go without sleep? Because I want to be able to rest a little bit. Okay. I will. Excuse me. I will go to sleep with the intention of waking up relatively early.
All right, so you're trying to get a short, night of rest in.
Yep.
Because tomorrow's a big day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So
going
Joel,
to space.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're still conscious when you'll note that someone has arrived from outside. You'll hear horses clopping up and the doors opening downstairs and yada yada blah. So either A, you've received a visitor, or B, Rhiannon did not spend the evening. Do you wish to investigate?
Have I stopped bleeding?
You have.
Okay.
You've bandaged that up and covered it in a way that if someone doesn't know you're wounded, they don't know you're wounded.
Okay. In that case, I'll go down, and if I'm still awake, I'll go down and see, just check, see who made it back. Make sure we don't have a guest.
All right, Rhiannon, you're coming through the front door. It would appear that Joel is still up. So some quasi-parental figure is checking in on you as you're rolling in late at night.
Gee, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Not dead.
Okay.
Good.
Yay.
Going to bed.
Didn't turn out to be a psychopath?
Nope.
Oh.
He's a good guy.
Okay. Just unexpected.
Do you want to follow that up at all? Or are you like, that's just Joel? Joel doesn't know like that.
It's just a paranoid person. Okay. So.
No, I mean.
Okay. Actually, if it's okay, I'd like to check something real quick, and I'll reach out a finger and touch, skin, and see, and just check. Can you hear me right now?
Are you going to tell Rhiannon that you're going to? I need to do a thing, or are you just reaching towards Rhiannon?
No. I'm saying if it's okay, I'd like to do something real quick and just to check. And I touch, shoulder or back of the hand or where. I don't remember what her dress looks like, but somewhere.
Rhiannon, are you comfortable with?
Oh yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, I'm probably would guess that it's something that not that he's checking something about the bond, but that he's using the bond. So I'm expecting him to talk to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, can you hear me right now?
Can I?
You are not broadcasting.
Okay.
So I just get silence and I
That's
stare
correct.
at him.
He's standing there touching you, and you're like, why are you just standing there touching me?
Okay. And so then I ask out loud, could you hear me right now?
No. And I'm going to try to say something to him through the bond. I assume that doesn't work either.
Correct. Nothing.
Wait. So you're like Eric now?
I think
or like Eric was?
I think I may be.
What? That's going to make things a little bit harder, though.
Potentially, but if we don't, okay, so I don't trust these things.
Yeah. Both of you, please roll a 20-sided die.
17.
Okay, and Rhiannon?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was just Joel. 5.
All right. Rhiannon, without the ability to communicate silently in your head, anything he says to you out loud right now, your mark will hear.
Mm-hmm.
So just FYI.
Yeah.
Keep going, Joel. Well, I don't trust these things.
After what we saw happen to Rhea. So, if we can lessen their influence over us, I consider that a win. So I've been experimenting with, potentially ways to do that.
Mm. But, keeping secrets is hard without certain tools.
True. Well, we may have to figure out other ways to, we may have to figure out ways to talk around things.
Well, okay.
Okay, so that's all right. Maybe that worked.
Okay. So, Rhiannon, you will go up to your bedroom, and Joel, you will go up to your bedroom. Is that correct?
Yep.
I will go crash out.
Okay. So, Rhiannon, waiting for you on your bed is a ferret.
Is his arms crossed?
Mine are. So he was asleep, but his head will come up when the door opens up, and he'll hop down from the bed and run up to you, sort of run up your leg to sort of like sit in your arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll give you a quizzical look.
I brought you a present.
He seems suspicious of your present.
I'll hand over the nuts, but I won't open them because
Okay.
I want to make it a little bit more of a sort of challenge for
The
him.
package? Okay.
Yeah.
You'll notice when you do that, as you are digging them out, like he'll that'll draw his attention, sort of like jingles a bell, draws the attention of a small child or whatever the case may be. But before you do that, you'll notice that he was sniffing you disapprovingly. It's clear he smells someone on you.
Well, I'm going to see if I can set him down on the vanity or something.
Okay. He'll take the bag of proffered whatchamabobs and begin tearing into it.
And I'm going to look him right in the eyes and making a little eye looking in gesture that you can't see.
Yeah, so you'll get in close, and he'll pause at the tearing open the bag to turn his head and meet eyes with you.
And I'm going to say, so the question that you are implicitly asking, the answer is yes, I did. And the second question that you aren't asking is no, it's none of your business. And then I'm going to give a shit-eating grin, and then I'm going to go to bed.
All right. He will look at you, look at your bag of nuts, realize that it's a bribe.
It's a bribe.
And push your bag of nuts over against the edge of the dresser. And then he will curl up and, like he's going to sleep, on top of this vanity. He'll sleep in the bed. He'll sleep on top of this vanity. And he's not having those nuts. Okay. So, Allie.
Yes. I had briefly wanted to see if, since given the shifts around to the scheduling of our episodes, if we had time for a brief interaction with the voice that I can only talk to when I'm sleeping.
That is planned. It is actually my next
Okay,
thing.
cool. I wanted to double check.
Okay. So I was waiting for all of you to be simultaneously unconscious. Okay. So Joel, bedtime for Joel? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So everyone's asleep now. All right. So Allie,
Yes.
as sleep takes you, the familiar pull of darkness wraps around you, and you're once again standing in that sort of like vast underground cavern that you find yourself in, a space that's sort of like endless but intimate at the same time. where the walls seem to pulse with shadow, shifting and whispering like living things. In the center of the space, the usual figure that you're used to seeing forms from shadows, slowly taking the shape of the familiar silhouette of Illyra. Shadows dance across her form, barely concealing the curves of her body. Her eyes, glowing with dark amusement, lock onto yours, and a teasing smile tugs at her lips. Ah, my lovely, so close now. One short day is all that stands between you and everything you've longed for. Before you see me here again, you'll have the reward you so richly deserve. You can feel it, can't you? The pull of destiny drawing ever nearer. Everything you desire is waiting. A simple step, a single whisper, and it will be yours.
That's so. I mean, I can't deny being. I look forward to it, certainly, but destiny? I've never been one to care much for destiny.
You don't think that it is your destiny to alter hers?
It's not how I look at it. I want to, certainly. I want to help her. But I don't see it as destiny. Nothing's ever certain. Not really.
Seems Riley bemused at that, like it wasn't expecting you to say that.
Let me guess. You weren't anticipating that, were you?
No, I wasn't. I thought I understood the thing that you held dearest. Perhaps I don't understand you half as well as I thought I did.
Maybe. What do you think it is I want, then?
Illyra, of course. Oh, and power, of course. Everyone wants power.
To some extent, you spend enough of your life feeling powerless, and power begins to have a certain allure. But how one uses that power tends to be more important.
I'm not here to concern myself with the niceties of such things. Use the power however you desire to use the power.
I intend to. There's something I'm curious about, however.
Ask away.
The powers you've offered me are interesting. I've certainly enjoyed the one that I've made use of so far. But I'll admit, I don't have much interest in the others you teased. The changing into greater and grander things.
No? A shame, since you've that talent.
Yes, but looking around, there's certain other themes here, aren't there? Other things at play.
Shadows. You want the power of shadows.
I do. It's part of why I'm actually doing this, going there. It's less about, well, I certainly will try to alter the course of Illyra's future if I can to avert catastrophe for her. But I want to learn. And if she's the one that can teach me, so be it.
Well, then you won't be overly disappointed when you discover that that's not something that I can do. I can only unlock such power as already exists within you. I cannot teach you things that you do not already know. If you want power, crave it, something beyond transformation, you'll need another source, someone or something to feed that hunger. That's a smile of a predatory, sensual nature. My gifts are many, but even I am bound by certain rules. But I suppose then it's very lucky that I'm putting you in the path of someone who can assist you in that regard. Now, isn't it?
I suppose so. I'm still not entirely sure what your game is. Is this how it's going to be? us dancing around each other, each one trying to maneuver things the way they want.
When you say that, she will begin literally dancing around you. In the same way that you saw Illyra dance in the downstairs of the Purple Lady. So she does a very good job of assuming Illyra's form, identity, and movements in that dance. And it's designed to be, sensual and taunting, and it's hard not to respond to that because you were intimate with Illyra, and so you know exactly where that dance can lead. And she'll chuckle a little bit and say, it's in my nature. The dance is in my nature, as it's in yours. Would you want it any other way?
I admit I'm having fun.
And that is, at the end of the day, what life is most about.
Just remember, I don't trust you.
Oh, I wouldn't expect you to just trust me, but just remember, I've given you nothing but power.
Yes, it's when that other shoe drops that I'm concerned about. There's always a cost for power. You know that as well as I do.
I imagine that's the case, but let us do our best to remain barefoot, and perhaps then shoes shall not encumber us.
So what is the price?
For?
The power.
You'll know because I'll come to you when you are needed to do something. In the meanwhile, I only ask that you follow your own desires. One can never go wrong following one's desires. And while you are doing so, keep the babes from coming to any harm.
But never let any children come to harm if I had the power to do so.
If you've a choice between those children and other children, choose them.
I'll just kind of chuckle a little bit at that.
Mhm.
Well,
Roll twice out of die for me.
yeah, all right. Oh, back up. That was cockeyed. All right. 18.
All right. Yeah, you're on your own with that one.
All right. Well, since I'm here, and I'm already in deep. The price is going to be the price whatever I use, correct?
I would have wagered so, yes.
So I'm not going to be digging myself deeper if I take more of it.
Oh, I would never tell you that you would.
Clever. A clever
dancing.
response.
We're dancing. I'm just dancing.
So we are.
So what is it that you wish to learn from me tonight?
What were the options again?
If you advance in power, and I believe you are soon to advance in power, I can teach you not just to transform portions of yourself, but transform yourself in a manner similar to polymorphing, I believe it's called.
All right.
When you are ready, all you have to do is think of me. Think of me and think of her, and the power will come to you.
I'll keep that in mind.
Not without a cost, and shadowy tap your chest where the mark would be.
Yeah.
Implication being that's going to burn as it did before. But
So what, does the one wink out then? Or...
not at that moment.
Not at that moment. Okay.
Basically, when you've gained in power, do the thing.
Got to level
You'll
up
get the
first.
thing,
Got it.
And it'll
Just
Okay.
One thing before I go.
Certainly.
It's all too fitting that you're, sad to say, only a shadow of her, and then I'll, if I can leave of my own accord.
Can you break the connection? Is that the
Yes.
question? Can
Yes.
you break the connection? The answer to that question is yes, you can. If you want to just sort of shut this dream out, you can shut this dream out. Okay.
Yeah,
So you
then
managed to
I'll-
get the last word. Nicely done. Okay.
It's like,
So-
you're not as good as her. Click.
Click. All right. So you are back to
Yeah.
unconsciousness.
hmm
And then everyone, and this includes you, Joel, and so I guess we'll see how this plays out, will find yourself awake and aware and together as a group, standing in the radiant golden light of the dream space that you were in once before, where you met
Once again.
Loomis. Yep. The sun hangs impossibly high above you, casting everything in its unblinking glow. And this is the realm of Calumnus, the emissary of Aminator, who stands before you once again, radiating his usual power and calm, eyes reflecting the horizon, looking like a bureaucrat, every inch the bureaucrat. He will say to you all, "Greetings. You've walked the paths of the world and faced your first trap." He's looking at your chest, Joel. Nobody else can tell what that's about other than the fact that he's looking at your chest. He'll put an eyebrow up when he does. You've grown stronger, and now I'm here to guide you to the next level of your power. Joel,
Huh.
I trust the special skill I taught you has served you well. You were ready when the moment came.
The language?
Indeed.
Yes.
Are you
Go ahead.
injured?
What's that?
Are you injured?
I still am actually pretty
Uh.
beat up from a certain wizard who trapped us in a chromatic orb. I mean that's where I'm a little dinged up from other things too, but that's where most of my injuries have come from.
Ah, I see. Understood.
Would you like me to help?
I'm not sure that'll help back in when we
Oh.
wake up. Sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, this place exists, Elric, outside of space and time. I've called you here together because you are ready to learn again in the light of Aminator. Should, of course, you desire such training.
Absolutely, Igor. Go for it.
I'll accept
Okay. Does anybody have anything for this? Or shall we go to the training montage?
That's training montage. I mean,
Montage.
I'm all for it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, quite all right,
Yep.
quite all right. Okay.
I want to see if Joel gets anything out of this.
Yeah. I mean, because if I level up as a fighter, all I get is some Thaco anyway, so I'd just be doing sword training with him for the next
Well,
however
like-
long.
I keep swinging, but it's not any better.
as he'll gather you together and he will say, "I remind you here that in the light of Aminator, there's no need for rest or sustenance. Time stretches, but it cannot bind you. Together you will train, honing your skills and mastering your powers. The skies above Toril hold great danger, and I will see that you are properly prepared." And then you'll get to that dream montage, like training montage, like we did last time. It's sort of like this strange eternal dream. It's time is indeterminate on how long it lasts, but it feels like several days for you, but there's no sleeping in between it. Joel and Eric, you'll spar in a grand coliseum of light, gaining in skill and power as warriors, martial skills being honed under Calumnus's watchful eye. Randy, you'll spend hours on end channeling the divine, calling down blessings, learning new prayers, with your connection to Finder growing stronger as you do so. Allie, you'll move between the faint shadows the place can conjure, nimble fingers working at locks and traps, moments of combat switching between straight up attacks and backstab training and that sort of thing. And Rhiannon, separated from your ever watchful ferret companion and the voice that otherwise eternally lurks in your head, you'll find yourself learning to weave new spells, stuff of a subtler nature than the usual destructive fire magic that you'd learn any other way. Throughout it all, sort of that strange timelessness of the place wraps around you. You don't feel hunger or fatigue. You've been training for what feels like days. and the landscape continually shifts between various ancient Netherese scenes and another. The one thing that always is present is the sun rather directly above you in the sky. At the end of this interminable period of time, Allie, you will gain 2 levels as a thief. You are now fifth level.
Okay.
Joel, you will gain 2 levels as a priest. You are now a 2nd level priest, 4th level, second level bard, 4th level priest. That will grant you access to 2nd level spells, which we'll talk about between this session and the next one, but more powerful magics. Eric, you are now a 5th level paladin.
Cool.
So we have our own little thing that we've developed, you and me, as to what those paladin powers are, so you and I can consult them and see what other nifty things you come up with other than just hit points and fighting capability.
Great.
Rhiannon, you will go from being a 3rd level sorcerer to a 5th level sorcerer, which will now unlock 3rd circle spells for you. And so again, between sessions, we'll talk about what 3rd level spells you have access to, but sort of you'll grow in power. And Joel, you will go up in level, but only 1 level instead of 2. You were ahead of the rest of the group, so whether that has something to do with your late night surgical procedures or the fact that you just had a greater experience point gap that you needed in order to get the 2 levels, you're going to end the training period as a 5th level fighter. So again, we'll deal with hit points and tacos and that kind of fun stuff. Maybe your saving throws might change. I got to look at the chart. But basically, that's what you've got. At the conclusion of this training period, Kalumnus will gather you all in a circle, looking at you in satisfaction and say, you are ready. I've done all I can to prepare you for the challenges ahead. The skies, far above Toril, will test your strength, your will, and your unity. But you all possess the light of Aminator within you. He will raise a hand, and the level of light will grow to an unbearable intensity. May the light of Aminator grant you clarity in the choices you must make. And then you will find yourselves bolt upright in bed. Like, whoa, that threw cold water on me. The sun's up. It's a little bit earlier than you sort of anticipated you'd wake up, with the exception of you, Eric, who is planning on being up bright and early. And you're scattered throughout the place in the sense that you've sort of erected separate bedrooms for yourselves around this place. I think a couple of you are sharing them, but for the most part, you're separated. But you all sort of woke up simultaneously, and you will find yourselves awake. Children have a tendency to get up before adults in many cases, and this was certainly true this morning. Because anyone who might have been sharing a room near or next to Gedrin the twins and Zara will note that they're all absent from the 2nd or 3rd floor of the building, and you can hear their voices, giggles, and whatnot coming from the 1st floor where the kitchens are located. After but a moment, you are all together again. You got anything for that?
Well, I am pleased.
I certainly wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that we needed that to face what we're going towards. That bodes ill.
It is definitely concerning. I won't lie.
Anything you want to tell us, Joel?
I just want to remind everybody that there are some things that we should not be saying out loud. It just we're kind of skirting, just remember that there are things we can't say out loud. And
do you regret no longer being a dwarf, Joel?
I was kind of getting used to it, but it's it's okay. It's
I'm kind of wondering if you're going to become a dwarf again at some point.
We're not sure why I became a dwarf the first time. Yeah. So, I mean, stuff's crazy.
I would offer to. I mean, we could all. I would offer to, because it happens the same night I turned into this. So,
right.
as much as I don't want to change myself again, if we want to test that and are willing to use up some power to do so.
No, let's not. Let's, if you're happy with your form as is, let's not, it's okay.
I am happy with it.
I already got my armor adjusted. I don't want to have to find a third set of armor.
Right. And as far as I understand, at least, among the elven persuasion, I can make changes without using up the mark. So that's nice. It's
Are you having this conversation on the second floor, all sort of grouped together before you head down to the first floor and
I would think
make
so.
Common cause? Okay. Keep going.
So it's if I need to change into something that's not an elf, basically, but I have to sleep to do it.
Okay. Are you stuck with PC races, or is the sky the limit? Perhaps literally.
I don't know. I haven't actually asked. I know that eventually my companion supposedly can teach me abilities that will let me turn into something grander. But for the moment, I'm going to assume I'm limited to PC races, so to speak.
Anybody else have anything that they want to share with each other about their evening or anything that's occurred? All of you have had these experiences of one kind or another that you haven't necessarily shared with each other. Or are we still all keeping secrets?
I mean, mine is not a secret, but I'm not sharing it. I don't kiss and tell.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I did have another chat with my friend.
Oh.
Though I think, yes, she's very much, and I know you can hear me.
Just, do we want to talk mentally?
I mean, Joel can't.
We don't know Joel can.
We don't, because we know that. Didn't we know that?
Only Rhiannon knows that.
Okay.
Only Rhiannon
I thought
knows
we knew
Joel
that you spent all your stuff though.
I don't think you did, but this is probably the time when I should let you folks know that.
I'll nix that.
Yeah, this is the perfect moment.
Well, yeah,
for him to say it.
let's link up and have this conversation a little more privately.
I am currently not in the group chat. I have transferred out as much power as I could. And so I am like Eric was before. So you guys go ahead and link up and just let me know what can be said out loud.
Okay. All right. I have questions, but that can wait. That can wait. I'll reach out.
Okay, so now it is 4 of you grasping hands, engaged in conversation, and Joel sort of sitting outside the circle, waiting for you to finish that internal chat.
Twiddling thumbs awkwardly,
Rhiannon, your ferrety friend is willing to get up on your shoulder and be taken downstairs for breakfast if you are willing to put him there for that purpose.
Okay. Did he eat any nuts during the night?
He did.
Okay. That's what I thought. We understand each other.
Okay. So, the 4 of you have a chat.
Well, it seems like I had another conversation. My voice is very upset, very concerned with the ideas of destiny. Certainly seems to be convinced that I believe that my destiny is to alter the course of Illyra's, which I clarified that wasn't.
You don't believe that, or your voice believes that, or
My voice believes it, that I believe it. I was saying I don't know. And I certainly don't think it's my destiny.
okay.
Point being. She also confirmed, though, that this power we're being given doesn't come without cost. In a very you'll know when the time is right kind of nonsense. Which means that those of us who've been using it, at least those, Rhiannon and I, are already in it up to our necks, it sounds like.
Well, that's encouraging.
Very.
That's why I've been bitching and moaning the whole time.
Mm-hmm. But it's clear that the powers that they can offer are limited to whatever potential we have. Trust me, I tried. I had a hunch, but I wanted to see if it was possible to get something else that was outside of the realm of what has been offered so far. Didn't work. Just wanted to see what I could do.
What did you try and get?
Well, I didn't get as far as asking. I had thought I might see if I could get the power to conjure darkness. I thought that could be useful. No dice, despite the shadowy surroundings that we seem to always meet in. I'm limited to shapeshifting. Shapeshifting and lots of very flirtatious encouragement from my voice's part.
So, living the dream is what we're saying.
Well, I mean, mine won't give me anything but fire, but that didn't mean that I couldn't find other stuff. So, I think that,
Right.
Yeah, you're not
What-
worse
what-
off. So,
Yeah, what we can get from it is limited, but we're able to get other stuff. I mean, I'm definitely not dissuaded from the hope that once we meet Illyra there, she can show me how to do what she does. Because that is what I want to learn.
Assuming we do indeed meet Illyra there. Yes.
Assuming.
Let's go and find out.
She's not the most reliable of people.
I'm aware.
All right.
But
Well, thank you for trying.
I
thank you
got
for
more
telling us.
information. I got more information at least.
Yes. Indeed. It's very helpful.
Although, and I want to clarify, the voices cannot hear our chatter in here. Yes, so we're free to talk about the
As
training.
best we know.
That is the DM's answer, yes. All
Okay.
evidence points to that fact.
It's interesting though. She doesn't know about these training sessions that we've been getting, and yet when I was talking to her about power, she mentioned rather curiously about the next time that I was very close to gaining in power, and that the next time I did so, I would be able to unlock the next thing. So, and lo and behold, I ended the chat and found myself
Allie
in the
has ended the
hyperbolic,
chat.
in the hyperbolic time chamber again. So,
I
I'm
see.
wondering how it just. I don't know what they know. I certainly don't trust them not to lie to us. But it's just it just doesn't, it sits weird with me. The coincidences. I don't like the coincidences.
2 non-coincidence lovers in the party.
Well, This is something to look out for.
Yeah, I agree.
Only so much we can do about it just right now. But we'll be careful.
We'll have
And you
to
will
be.
head. And you will head downstairs for breakfast, or is there something else you need to discuss?
I'm good. I'm good.
Boy, breakfast.
Okay. He'll come trotting up from downstairs, because that's where he already was, already eating breakfast. So you'll see him as you're headed downstairs. He's already got some of breakfast on his face.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. And so...
Good, that was just a test.
I am happy to please you, Papa.
Paranoid.
So you'll all come downstairs into the kitchen or the dining room where they've laid out a hearty breakfast for you as you're about to hit the road. And there are all of the NPCs in the place. So in other words, your host, his daughter, Zara, and all the kids downstairs sort of like eating or serving breakfast. And all of you can come down there and eat. Joel, you find you're pretty hungry because you pushed your food around the plate yesterday.
Yep.
So this stuff you'll happily dig into. You're also nursing a wound that, makes you hungry, I'm sure. And-
Would you like some help, Joel?
Sure.
So you want to lay hands on Joel?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joel, you'll take whatever amount of healing you can take from what Eric can give you.
I can take up to 14 points of healing.
How much can you give?
Let's see. I think it's 10, but I'm just going to double check.
There you go. Well, while he checks that, you'll get less
Okay.
than the full amount. Okay. You'll know as you're getting less than the full amount that the wound that is healing last is the one you inflicted.
Okay, that's actually what I would choose.
Okay. So, all right. You're all downstairs. You've got a little bit of time to get yourselves ready to head out on the road, get breakfast. Your host has been kind enough to pack bags and things like that for you all. Apparently, some noble friend of yours sent 5 horses along with saddlebags and packs and stuff like that for them here. And so he's taken the liberty of getting together some travel rations and stuff like that, not necessarily knowing exactly how far your journey is going to be. But you got food, you got water, you got blankets, you got the basics for traveling in the wilderness that are already ready to go. So all I need to know from you before you set out is, 1, do you want to do or say anything amongst yourselves or to any of these NPCs before you leave? Assume that you'll have, some sort of a tender parting scene with the kids before you leave. But anything else? And 2, is there anything you want to leave behind here as opposed to take with you on the road? So I put that into your collective hands.
I want to make sure the nanny has what she needs.
And I'm actually going to tell the nanny, alone, away from the other, away from our host and his daughter. Okay, if anybody claims that they are coming with a message from us or on our behalf while we're gone, the password is pineapple. If they don't say that to you, they are not from us.
Pineapple.
Yeah,
Pineapple.
just a
Yep.
random
It's a
combination of a
nonsense.
fruit and a tree.
Yeah, for her, this is 2 words. Pineapple. Not 1 word.
That's
Pineapple.
why it's perfect in
Okay.
the realms.
All right.
So
I will remember that.
take care.
All right. Anyone else have anything else that they need to talk to any particular NPCs about?
Nope.
Oh,
Okay.
Boy,
Yes, Papa?
50 swipes with that sword a day.
You will not be gone long, right, Papa?
I'm not entirely sure. We should be back soon, but keep up your training in the interim.
I will. I know you have important things to do, and I promise I'll wait right here, and I'll be good, and I'll look after Nyx. You'll notice that the cat is with him now, while
Good.
you're gone.
What does
So-
being good mean to you, lad?
That's 50 swipes with the sword, and being watchful over the girls, and everyone in the house.
Great. You're not to leave the house.
Even if it's on fire?
If it's on fire, or there are some other circumstances forcing you to leave the house, you may leave the house, but otherwise, stay here where it is safe and keep everyone safe.
I shall make sure that they are watched, always.
Those are good questions, and I appreciate you asking them.
He'll give you a bear hug around your lower leg. Okay.
I'll
So-
watch over you.
So now it's just, what do you want to leave behind, if anything? Or are we taking everything on the road?
I don't have much to take, so I'm just gonna pack it all up. Because the stuff that I might leave would be the
Clothes,
stuff
money, magic items, blah, blah, blah. It's all coming with you.
I'm leaving the fancy clothes behind.
Yeah, the fancy
Other
stuff.
than that, everything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
fancy outfits stay behind. Everything
Mhm.
else goes. Allie. Randy, same rules apply?
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking what I'm.
You're a
whatever I
man of the
need.
road. That's
I'm a
what
fan
you
of the
do. You
road.
travel. Okay.
Travel.
You'll notice, man of the road, that your erstwhile ghostly companion is back this morning.
Ah.
And she'll say to you, I apologize that I was not around last night, Randy. I just needed to wander the fields of Finder's Domain for a bit to think about life and death and the difference between the two.
How
Understand.
ironic.
How ironic. That's funny. All right. So that's
You
Randy.
never need to apologize for taking whatever space you need.
Thank you. You are kind in ways that not everyone is. Eric, anything left behind or everything coming with?
I am bringing everything with me, including Vindicator, which
Yeah, good
I
call.
will have acquired a scabbard.
Mhm.
It's going to be funny when the sword's not on me and I just have an empty scabbard, but right now it's in the scabbard and I have it on my back.
I was just going to say, this is a backdraw scabbard, I wager.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's not the most efficient for drawing an actual sword, but it's the
Mhm.
most efficient for walking around.
Yeah.
I was
like you're
thinking
not
it.
bumping into things. Yeah. Joel, anything you're leaving behind?
Just the fancy
Other than the
clothes.
fancy outfit. Okay.
Nope. Everything else fits in my bag.
And finally, Rhiannon, anything you're leaving behind?
Probably same as Joel. No fancy clothes. Keep my other stuff with me.
Okay, very well. So then you will swiftly find yourselves packing and out on the street in front of the house. You've got your 5 horses. They're big. These horses are big. Like, you've got how big horses are. They're pretty big. And they've got saddlebags and all the kit on them, which is great. You'll probably be walking them through the city, because it's just easier. It's just when you're going through tight crowds and stuff like that to not have to like ride people down with these big horses. You can just guide them through, right? But once you're out of the walls of the city, you can hop onto the saddle and move with speed as you need. But thinking it through, you didn't see a lot of people riding around town. Most people were sort of walking their horses, because when the streets get crowded, it's just an easier way to get them about. And standing out in front of the place are Zara and the twins, so she's got both, bouncing one on each hip, and Gedrin, who's sort of standing near them. And Gedrin will come up to you, Rhiannon.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hello. Lady Rhiannon, I would just ask that you take care of my friend, Ferris. He's smart, and he likes you.
Of course. I mean, unless, would you like to ask him to stay with you? Because you're welcome to ask him if he would make his own decision. I don't want to take him away if you're such good friends.
He seems to go with who needs him, and I think you need him more.
Well, thank you. And yes, he will take care of himself. I will do my best to take care of him.
And Ferris, he's saying up to the ferret
Yeah.
who's sitting on your shoulder, make sure she looks after you. She needs you. And you'll note his little head will nod sagely at that remark. He does believe, in fact, that you do need him. Randy, you've evidenced a certain degree of closeness to the twins. More so, I think, than most of the other members of the party. And so Zara will wander over towards you as everybody else is saying their varied and sundry goodbyes. As soon as Gedrin is done with his goodbye to Rhiannon, he goes over to Eric and gives him a big hug, and they talk a bit about what sword practice is and that sort of thing. But Zara will say, don't worry about these two little bundles.
Oh, I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about, like, anything flammable around them. But hey, it'll be great. So at the dinner last night, did he have anything that was like peppers or anything like that, like spicy foods?
Oh yeah, there was definitely spicy foods there. Did you want to liberate some in the name of New Spain?
Yeah, I had snuck some, and so I give them some to the little babies here. Here, you can nosh on that. Have fun.
She'll say, "What are these peppers?"
Yeah, they love them.
Okay, I'll see if you're not dealing with what comes out the other end. I'll warn you about that.
They're like 4 days old.
But very well.
They're tieflings.
Yeah, they get
and they're born of diabolical.
She'll say, "I will make sure that these get into their hands in a way that pleases them and does not displease me. And don't worry, I'll keep them close always. You have my word on that." Says that with a degree of seriousness to you, Andy. Okay?
Sounds good.
And lastly, we have Gedrin with Eric saying, "I promise you, again, Papa, I will keep an eye on everyone. I will let no one come to harm. I swear this to you and to Helm. Please hurry back so that we may resume my training." You know that's not why he really wants you back.
I understand, boy.
Okay, so one last big hug from him, and now you are walking away from the house. So you're on the streets, and you'll soon be amongst the crowds that tend to move on these big streets in the city. And in fairly short order, just a couple of moments, you'll find yourself out of sight of this place. That's the first time that you're really far away from these twins. Gedrin, since you rescued him, you've been separated for short periods of time, but you're about to be gone for what could be days away from them. And you'll all kind of note that to yourselves as they're falling out of sight behind you. You're also, horses in tow, just the 5 of you again, as opposed to any NPCs traveling along with you one way or another. So, setting out on that journey. And this one, as I said, will be pretty far. As you leave Troll Skull Manor and set out along the streets of the North Ward, you're met by the morning sights and sounds of one of Waterdeep's wealthier districts. I'm going to give you my box text for your departure of the city. The broad, well-paved high road is lined with fine, multi-story houses adorned with decorative stonework and iron railings. Manicured gardens peek out from behind wrought iron fences, and windows of merchant homes reflect the bright midday sun. Elegant shops and stalls cluster along the main road north, their owners calling out to potential customers. Fine tapestries, pottery, and exotic goods from distant lands are on display, a testament to Waterdeep's sort of center of the world. You'll travel 5 full city blocks, one slipping by after another, and the noise of the North Ward grows louder as you approach the North Gate. The streets here are packed with carts, wagons, and all manners of beings on foot making their way to that North Gate. Merchants wave to passers-by, horses clop steadily forward, and the mood is bustling but orderly, with Waterdeep's city guard keeping a close eye on things from their posts, ensuring that no trouble arises. At last, the towering North Gate comes into view, an imposing barbican archway looming above the massively fortified Troll Wall, which is the north wall of the city. The stonework is grand and weathered by centuries of use, and 2 massive porticolae frame the entrance, with guards stationed on either side, their armor gleaming in the sunlight. The porticolae are raised, but the gatehouse above is filled with crossbowmen watching over the throng moving below. As you pass under the high arch of the gate, you can feel the eyes of the guard pass over you, casually inspecting you as you walk by. Beyond the gate itself, lies a vast field, open field of caravans, wagons, and horses, their drovers shouting to one another in a mix of languages as they ready themselves for the journey north. The caravan grounds are a chaotic sprawl of activity, long lines of merchants preparing for travel, animals braying and snorting, kicking up clouds of dust, stalls offering supplies for the road, food, water barrels, spare wheels, and horse tack line the edges of that field. Beggars and street performers weave through the crowd, trying to earn a few copper nibs before the travelers depart. The high road itself is a well-maintained and broad enough thoroughfare designed to accommodate two-way traffic of both small groups and large caravans alike. Horses, carts, and wagons jostle for space as merchants, travelers, and mercenary guards march in a steady stream northward. You'll fall in among the heavily laden caravans creaking along the pungent odors of horses and oxen as they mix freely with the salty tang of the sea air drifting inward from the Sword Coast. Anything I should know about your marching order or strategy as you're moving along the road?
Well, when we stop to mount up, I help anybody who needs it up into the saddle, and then I adjust everybody's stirrups as needed. Just check the tack, make sure it's up.
Cough, Rhiannon.
Well,
I was going to say, is my training wheels horse treating me properly?
Oh yes, you're training with this. You get the impression you could smack this horse about the head and neck and it would just look at you happily.
Okay,
an old
good.
horse then. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Joel. You were saying
Oh,
you're going to strap everybody
Actually,
in.
I was going to ask Rhiannon, do you feel comfortable controlling the horse, or do you want somebody else to hold your reins while we travel?
I think probably somebody else should hold reins.
Okay.
I'll just be along for the ride here.
All right.
I mean, everything I've read about, good-tempered horses like this suggests that it'll follow with the rest of them, but it's probably better that you don't trust me to steer it.
Is this a Western or English style saddle?
This is an English style saddle.
Okay, so nothing to hold on to then. Okay.
Come on, Artax. Let's go.
Do these saddles have stirrups, or have those not been
Avoid the
invented?
swamps of sadness, Randy. Avoid the swamps of sadness.
Hey,
Stirrups have been invented.
All right.
so-
Are
Okay.
these okay? So you said these were big horses. Are they like war horses, or are they
You
just like
think.
big riding horses?
You think this is either like a draft horse, right, or a light war horse. These are big horses. These are not just simple riding horses.
This is good because I am
This
very
is
big and I
quality.
get
These are some
sensitive.
quality horses.
I get
Okay.
sensitive about the horses carrying me because I weigh a lot. So
It's awkward when you mount the horse and your feet are still on the ground.
yeah, it is.
This horse could hold a knight in armor charging while wearing barding. So
Good.
you're pretty comfortable with this horse. Has got
Good.
no trouble dealing
Good,
with
good.
you.
All right.
Joel gave a little there, which is probably his knowledge of the fact that you're dealing with several 1,000 gold pieces worth of animal flesh that
Like-
you're steering north. Somebody's lent you the keys to the Mercedes to take it out of town.
Or
Yeah.
worth their weight in silver kind of horses. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So on the horses, headed north, sort of roughly maybe the fightery types towards the front and Rhiannon in the middle. Does that sound fair?
I mean, I'm not making any choices here, so.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you'll begin moving northward. As you move along the high road, the landscape opens up, and you'll soon find yourselves in the company of dozens of other travelers. Caravans packed with goods from distant lands ramble slowly forward, while farmers drive livestock towards markets or graze them along the road. The air is still and thick with dust kicked up by a constant stream of travelers, and the heat of the sun begins beating down on you from above. The merchants and guards chatter as they move beside their carts, and horses snort as drivers spur them onward. The road is filled with life and activity, but beneath it all, there's a sense of tension, a reminder that beyond the city's protection, the wilds can be pretty dangerous. However, You also feel sort of the openness of the road ahead and the promise of the wilds beyond as you're traveling further north. After a short distance, maybe 30 minutes time, you'll start to pass small scattered farms and homesteads, each surrounded by stone walls or wooden fences where farmers tend to their fields and animals. The road gradually rises and falls with the gentle hills of the region, and after about a mile, so another 15 minutes or so, the sound of the city starts to fade a bit behind you, giving way to the quieter, more natural sounds of the countryside. The rustling of leaves, the call of distant animals, and the creaking of your leather saddles and carts nearby are constant reminder that you're traveling the road. As you crest the next gentle rise, you see a sprawling countryside, farmland-style countryside, looming endlessly ahead of you. And as you're going up that rise, taking a long last look behind you, you see the high walls of Waterdeep dwindling into the distance. The spires of Castle Waterdeep, the gleaming rooftops of the Sea Ward catching the sun's rays, giving the city a sparkling hue in the early morning light. To
No
their
wonder
right,
folk call it the City of Splinters.
now you're getting it. To the right, the gleaming waters of the ocean are visible in the distance, just past the city walls, seabirds wheeling in the air, cries echoing above the clop of hooves, and a warm breeze carries the distinct distant smell of salt, mingling with the rich scent of the earth and growing things as you truly leave behind the bustle and grime of the city. At this moment, Rhiannon, your friend, who has been quiet for most of the last day, chooses to add something in. I know you've been eager to leave this place, this world, but to me it seems Waterdeep is a place that you could call home, if you wish. A place to build, both in power and connection, and with the resources of someone like your new paramour, imagine the possibilities.
So it interests me that it's somewhere that you want me to stay.
It'll chuckle when you say that. I recognize a safe place, one where one can build in power and the art when I see one.
I see. So it's less about being here and more about gathering strength for something else that you're going to make me do later.
Am I not already making you do the thing that I'm seeking you gather strength about? Remember when we talked about how you needed to stay a step ahead of your opponent, but it would be much better if you could turn and fight?
True enough.
Perhaps I'm just preparing you for that confrontation.
Ooh, yay!
All right, it seems satisfied that you snarked at it and has nothing further to say at this time. If you have nothing further to say at this time.
What a kindly hearted devil.
Okay. So your next destination is the shrine, the Wild Stone Shrine, which you've been told is, a little over a mile outside the city on the left-hand side of the high road. Nobody gave you a past the gnarled tree with 3 notches in the... So do you want to just sort of look for side paths or ask somebody around, hey, where's the Wild Stone?
Well, if we're traveling with other people, I think it's reasonable to ask for directions.
Yeah. It's not unreasonable under the circumstances, so that's the plan.
Yeah. Just say we were hoping to visit this particular shrine on our way out of the city. Do you happen to know where it is? Just to, maybe people who look kind of druidy or, pilgrims.
Let me roll some dice and see if anybody looks druidy in the area.
Thank you.
Okay. 06. Holy moly. Somebody looks druidy.
Hey, you look druish.
And is on their way there.
Actually, but go ahead.
Okay. So, we just ask, We're hoping to pay homage at this shrine to the Oak Father. Yes, that is near the city.
Sylvanus, you're looking for the Wild Stone. This is
That's
a
the
druid.
one. That's the one.
You are almost upon it. He's pointing in the direction of a particularly vigorous oak tree that's sitting on the left-hand, north left-hand side of the road, where you can kind of make out there's kind of like a ditch on the side and then a trail beyond the ditch.
What a gorgeous tree.
Hmm.
I should have guessed.
It is several hundred years old at least. Are you followers of the Green Father?
As much as most folk are.
Well, I offer his blessings to you then. May you find what you seek there.
I shall offer you in turn the blessings of Helm, God of Guardians. May he watch over your path.
I am headed to the city, so I could use those blessings.
I am certain that you can, and I hope that you will be safe.
All right. So you will part as friends upon the road, and then head to the designated location.
Yep.
Do you want to leave your horses? Do you want to walk your horses in? What do you want to do?
These things are like, walking
heavy
treasure chests. We should take them with us.
Yeah, how heavy is the underbrush?
Not very. There's a clear path.
Yeah, then stay on the horses. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you'll do that. You're going to need to drop into single file. So I sort of envision single file as Eric in the lead, then Joel, then Rhiannon, then Randy, and Allie bringing up the rear. Does that sound a fair single file?
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
All right. As you leave the bustling road behind and follow the well-worn path ahead of you, you find yourselves gradually enveloped by the serenity of the wilderness. The din of the passing caravan sort of fades into the distance, replaced by the rustling of the wind through the trees, the faint song of distant birds, that kind of thing. And you'll smell the fresh smells of the forest and turned earth. A short walk, in your case trot on your horses, will bring you to the base of a natural rise where the path opens up into sort of a secluded glade. 60 feet back or so, nestled amongst the rolling hills, stands the Wild Stone. You'll know that our friend Ed Greenwood provided me with this description of the Wild Stone and
Excellent.
its inhabitants. He tells me that there is likely to be something about this in the future, so you're getting it first. The Wild Stone is an enormous egg-shaped boulder, about 16 feet high and 22 feet long, split cleanly in two down the middle. The gap between the two halves is about 8 feet wide, creating a natural division that has long since been claimed by nature. From within the split, a towering oak tree grows, its trunk over 4 feet in diameter, firmly rooted in the earth, its branches spreading out far beyond the boulder to cast a broad canopy of shade over the shrine itself. The ancient oak seems to serve as a guardian for the stone, its limbs and leaves blending with the surrounding landscape, creating a feeling that the Wild Stone itself is alive and embraced by the forces of nature. The Wild Stone is a weathered, worn smooth in some places by centuries of wind and rain, while other parts remain jagged and raw, untouched by time's slow grind. The symbols of Sylvanus, vines, leaves, and antlers, are etched here and there into the stone, though they're faint and worn with age. The surface of the boulder feels primal, like it's old and in a way that, the earth speaks to you. And its limbs and leaves of the tree above, blah, 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 blah. When the land was wild and untamed. Behind the split boulder, just beyond the towering oak, stands a second smaller oak tree, growing horizontally across a small hillock. This oak, little bit darker in its leaves and its bark than the oak that splits through the center of the standing stone, curves up from the ground at waist height, its flat, gnarled trunk forming a natural altar of sorts. Offerings of what look like wild herbs, flowers and a few scattered coins adorn the altar, and behind it, the hillock rises slightly, covered with tended herbs that give the impression of carefully curated wild growth. A vine curtain hangs over the entrance to a small cave, which can be glimpsed through gaps in the foliage. The entire area is surrounded by a ring of bramble bushes, carefully cultivated by the shrine's caretakers. The dense thorns form a protective barrier around the shrine, allowing entrance only from the high road facing side, where the path leads directly up to the wildstone and its oak guardians. The air is filled with the smell of fresh herbs and the earthy scent of the oak, with the soft rustling of leaves as a constant backdrop to the natural music of the earth. There's a deep sense of peace here, as though the land itself is alive with the power of the Forest Father, and those who come here are embraced by the wild in all its untamed beauty. As you're looking at the shrine, taking this all in, a tall figure steps out from behind the shaded side of the boulder. It's a woman. This clearly must be the shrine's guardian. She's maybe in her late 20s or early 30s, standing just over 6 feet tall, with long, flowing, natural blonde hair that reaches her thighs. Her brown eyes, warm but watchful. She moves with graceful, near silent step of someone accustomed to a life in the wild. She's wearing green robes, adorned with leaves and vines, that seem to cause her to blend seamlessly with the surroundings, part of how she snuck up on you in the way that she did. And she has an oak staff resting in her hand. Her posture is relaxed, but there's an air of readiness about her. She's clearly a veteran adventurer on guard, and she's humming to herself quietly as she spots you. She smiles softly.
First of all, I mean, this seems like a nice place if we just want to settle in here, right? No need to get home or anything. My goal
Just gotta-
fight stuff.
Just gotta all convert to the ways of the Oak Father.
Sure. I mean,
I'll pass.
I thought you might.
Does this place speak to you, Randy? Are you feeling at one with the serenity of this shrine?
yeah, I'm digging the serenity of the shrine.
Mm-hmm. Allie, you're an elf. There is a degree to which the natural component of this place makes you feel at ease.
That's
Maybe you don't
true.
want to get on the Sylvanas train, but it's
Yeah.
lovely. Randy has a point.
I'm a moon elf, not a wood elf. But yes.
Fair enough.
But you're right.
Randy,
You're right. That is true.
That's fair.
And honestly, out of character, in real life, not being an elf, I love the woods. I love natural spaces. So this is actually really cool. Just not keen on the Sylvanas train.
Fair enough. Randy, you were going to say something just then.
Oh, and I was going to say she's humming, so I'll
Yes.
just softly start humming a counter song just in case.
Oh, okay. In case she's trying to enchant you all.
Yeah.
All right. She'll notice that you're picking up a hum that is sort of like the counterpoint to her hum, and she'll smile, showing her very, very clean, very white teeth, which you didn't necessarily expect from a druid, but here it is. Everybody else?
Hail and well met, my lady.
Welcome, traveler. To the sacred wild stone, where the Forest Father's spirit is ever present. You tread upon the hallowed ground of Sylvanas, where nature's balance is honored in all ways. Do you seek the Forest Father's guidance?
In a sense, we have come here to meet with.
You're like, what did we come
Someone.
here for?
We have come here.
do-
We have come here to meet with others.
Why don't you all roll a 20-sided die for me?
Oh. There was something we were supposed to say.
Yes, that's what you're rolling, the 20-sided
I
die.
got a 1.
Yeah, okay. Nobody
Well,
else needs to bother to roll because we got a 1. Right, okay, so that Chris the Gray guy, what the hell did he say? Okay, so you go to the shrine, you ask to walk wild. Whatever that means. Sounds like there's nudity involved, but, you do it your way.
We're about to get polymorphed, aren't we?
We're interested in walking wild.
Oh, that big smile got even bigger.
Oh, good.
So you seek to walk wild. The forest's paths are open to those who tread with reverence and respect and who make the proper offerings. Your gifts must be generous, however, for Sylvanas watches closely. Place no less than 25 pieces of gold or an equivalent offering upon the altar. In return, you shall receive the blessing of the wilds, granting you safe passage where others might falter. And she steps aside to grant you access to the shrine.
Thank you.
Watching you, humming softly as she does so.
I think we can manage the 25 like that.
Give him Rhiannon's horse.
Just hack the horse up onto the altar.
Yeah, how am I gonna get back? We're not.
You can ride behind
we're not
somebody.
giving them the horse. We can manage the coin. We have the money.
Okay.
Do we?
Who
I
has?
thought
Yeah, we
had
got
the
a
mon-
lot of money.
Yeah, you do. You do have money.
Substantial amount. Yeah.
But I'm
I keep
asking-
hearing that, but I've got 3 gold pieces, so I don't know.
Point being, we have the money. We can put the money on the altar.
So who's the party's bank?
Allie, sounds like.
Okay. If I'm the party bank, I'm the party bank. I'll
I
put-
think at this point, if you're going to parcel it out in gold pieces, it's going to take probably almost all of the gold pieces. You have a lot of platinum, however, if you want to just plunk down some of those.
She did say an equivalent amount.
So we can plunk down some of the platinum along
Okay,
with yeah.
1, 2 platinum pieces plus
Mhm.
5 gold pieces.
Yep.
Okay. As you do so, she will turn to you, stop humming, and say, Sylvanas is pleased with your offering. The wild shall welcome you. Please, down from your horses and gather forth.
I'll
I'm feeling
slip
so
off.
good about this.
I want to note, just because, just for reference, I have.
For reference.
I'm definitely already in the armor. Like I've got the leather armor. I've actually traded the half cape, the little shoulder cape that I had. I've swapped that for that scarf that I bought. So I've got the little kind of
Okay.
draped dramatically over the shoulder.
in a more wilderness mode.
Yeah.
mode. Okay,
Mhm.
fair enough. Yes. Randy, Jamal, who's been with you, sort of walking alongside your horse, will say, I am going to vanish into you in the way that I do when you travel places, because I don't know that I can do what you're about to do. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind if you don't mind.
And she will vanish in a blink. You'll feel a little up the spine, like,
Mhm.
okay. she wasn't joking about that. Okay. Do you want to get down off your horse and approach?
Yes. I'll
Yep.
take off
Okay.
my boots so that my bare feet are touching the ground.
Let's go ahead and tie our horses.
2.
A tree?
Okay.
The
So you'll
al-
pick
the
up 3
altar.
and you'll tie your horse to the altar. No, thank you for the horses. So you'll tie
I mean,
your
I
horses
get
off
the
to a
impression
tree.
we're about to leave them behind, but let's
Yeah.
just in
That's
case.
a pretty good impression. I think if you talk to the priestess, and I'll leave you to do it, but if you talk to the priestess, it's probably reasonable that she would take care of animals for a period of time if you're planning on returning to this location. But you might need to work that out with her. But you'll all get down off of your animals. Randy's taking his boots off. You guys can all make what you want of that.
I'll go
but
chat
getting
with
his
her
toes in
about the-
loam,
I'll go chat with her about the horses.
please do.
So, we're not entirely certain how long this walking wild will take. Would you watch over our horses in the interim? They are fine and kindly beasts, especially that one, and I point to the one that Rhiannon was riding.
It looks as though it's lived a long life and is in the years where it carries children and those who do not know how to ride horses.
Yes. Let's not
I
tell her
will-
that, though.
I will look after your horses for you. However, I will advise you, traveler, that there will be a cost for that, for horses must be fed and watered and tended to appropriately.
Of
And
course.
I cannot promise you that if you're gone for more than a 10-day, that they will still be here when you return.
And I would not ask you to promise such a difficult thing. but I appreciate you looking over them in the interim. And we will have additional offerings when we return.
Very well. Okay. So the rest of you have gathered up. Randy, you're getting your feet in the your toes in the loam, which is kind of comfy. And she will, with a fluid motion, produce a small leather pouch from somewhere hidden in her garb. And she starts taking out of it acorns, like with the little caps and everything, offering one at a time to each of you. Her voice takes on a solemn tone as she begins to explain why she's handing you these acorns, unless you have something you want to say before she does.
No.
Okay.
Take mine.
These acorns are more than simple seeds. They're the promise of life and a token of trust between you and the Forest Father. You must carry them with you as you proceed. Now, let me prepare for your journey. So you're holding these perfect, lovely little acorns, and she's moving over towards the altar. And she looks like she's getting like a small wooden bowl with like crushed up stuff in it that she's sort of stirring around with like a pestle. Okay?
Oh, Chris the Grey, I can't imagine.
You got anything to each other while you're waiting for this to occur?
The odds that he's playing a terrible prank on us are not zero.
Well, in for a penny and all that.
Mhm.
Okay. So, humming once more, she approaches you with this salve that she's created in the bowl. Dipping her fingers into the mixture, she gestures for you to bow your heads.
Do so.
Okay. First, and she'll start with you, Randy, because you seem the most respectful of the Forest Father. I will anoint you with this sacred salve. It represents your bond with Sylvanus, your connection to the earth beneath your feet, and she'll give you a knowing grin, Randy, because the earth is really beneath your feet, and the wilds that surround it. This stuff is, cold and refreshing sort of on your skin, and it has the scent of herbs and freshly turned earth. So she's kind of rubbing some herby dirt on your forehead in sort of like a little circular pattern of herby dirt on your forehead. She's whispering a little prayer under her breath to Sylvanus as she does that to watch over and guide you. And she'll work her way around the party, one after the other. Anybody not want to have the dirt circle?
I mean,
No.
want is a strong word, but I'm not going to object.
All right, so dirt circling it is. She will then step back and, gesturing towards the great tree that exists between the split in the rocks, say, "And now you must climb. The oak stands as a guardian. Its branches will carry you to safety. You'll climb until you reach a limb." She's pointing to a limb 30, 40 feet off the ground.
Oh, great.
About 30 paces above us. It is from there that you will leap, not to the ground, but towards the wild stone itself, to the jagged face that remains untouched by time. Just gotta let that sit in.
Okay, those odds are like much higher than zero.
Yeah.
Well,
Does
all right.
anyone want to go first?
I'll go
Remember your
first.
acorns. Hold them tightly as you climb. They're the seeds of life, and you must carry them with you as you leap. It may seem dangerous or foolish, but trust in Sylvanus, and nature will hold you.
You know
Leap
what?
with
I'll go
faith,
first.
and you shall be whisked
okay. I already
away.
said I would go first, but okay.
Well, you can go first.
Okay, so
All right.
the thief, who is the most skilled climber in the group,
You're gonna Rochambeau it?
I'm just gonna go.
Oh,
Not sure what that means.
there she goes.
she's gonna Roshan go it. Like,
Oh,
not
I-
Roshan bow it.
In the meantime, I'm gonna ask the priestess if they make or if she has heard of a thing called kombucha.
Oh my god.
I have not heard of this kombucha.
I tell her all about it. I'm from
What
Seattle. It's a thing.
is kombucha? You're gonna have to tell me all about it, Eric, because I've only seen it in containers.
Well, it's a fermented fruit-based drink. I'll just find some
All right.
information about
She
it
does.
anyway.
She does sound tempted by this. She, if you have any, she'd be happy to try it. You'll have to explain to her sadly that you don't have any on you.
Unfortunately, I didn't think to put any in my bag when I brought it. It's a kind of tea. It's a fermented black tea. It's good.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
while you're having that sort of surreal conversation, and the rest of you are watching Allie climb this tree, Allie, you've reached the limb.
Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna have to roll. All right.
Do not fear, she yells up at you. Leap with acorn in hand, and Sylvanus will catch you. Nature always finds a way to catch its own.
All right. I have a moment, like as I'm reaching the limb, like I'm not looking down as I'm doing this, but as I'm reaching the limb, I pause, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think this through. Did not think this through.
Just give her a thumbs up.
I actually
that's a
have
long way down, and that's a sharp rock down there.
Yep, and I have a fear of heights.
Oh yeah.
I'm pushing through it though. So I aim for the spot and grip the acorn, and I whisper a prayer to the Dark Maiden.
Okay, so Elistre, as opposed to Sylvanus, as you're leaping into the open.
And then I'll leap. I'll do my leap, quite a literal leap of faith.
It's exactly what it is.
Cue eagle screech.
Yeah, there you go. So you'll take that plunging leap into open air, angling towards the jagged stone below, acorn grasped tightly in hand. And as you do,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just a joke because I'm leaning into the reference too. I'm doing the like arms stretched out thing, like
the diving into the
yeah. Like
you're going for a
going
good
for the
score
Assassin's Creed. Well, going for the Assassin's Creed moment here.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Okay. As you do, you'll feel a rush of the wind, catch the smell of wildflowers, and hear the soft rustle of leaves. Blessedly, as you rush towards what seems like certain doom, your body, however, does not meet hard stone, but instead the world around you blurs into a rush of green light, and you are whisked away. From the ground, looking at Allie do that, Allie turns into a green mist and just takes off into the sky.
Great.
Sweet.
Hey, Allie, where did you
Probably
want to
good.
go again?
Well, I'm thinking about the Rock of Brawl. I'm focusing. I'm hyper focusing
Why
on
don't
the
you-
Rock of Brawl.
There
Why
were
don't
some
you
other
roll me
steps
a-
in there.
Why don't you roll me a 20-sided die? Because as Joel points out, there are some other steps in there.
There were. Okay.
Good. I should have had this conversation beforehand.
Well, also it's been a long
I
time
know.
out of
I
character.
totally
and it's been in
understand.
character.
So what's the...
I rolled a 6.
Oh, then you're good. Hidden Hail is where you're looking for.
Hidden Hail. Got it.
Okay.
That's
All
what I'm
right, so
headed.
that's what you'll think of, and you'll move out into the sky. All right, well, that was either good or disintegration. It's really hard to tell. So who's next?
Anybody need help tree climbing?
Probably me.
Okay, I'll help anybody climb who needs it.
And then you
Okay.
might need to push me.
Okay, I mean, sure.
Thank you.
Pull from above, push from below. Which.
So kombucha is a fermented sugar tea made with mushroom. And usually you add some kind of juice to it to give it different flavors. Anyway, I'm telling this all to the priestess.
Yeah, right. So I guess you're not next climbing. It's going to be Joel and Rhiannon. They're going to make their way together. Okay.
I'm just remembering when I was like 11 or 12, and I did diving class on the 1 meter boards, but then there's a 3 meter board, and I went off at once, but it took 3 or 4 tries. And like I would get up there and I wouldn't be afraid. My body would just like stop. And I would not leave that board. And I'm like, I'm not afraid. I'm not moving. So
you have the opportunity here, Rhiannon, because we haven't discussed it yet, but you can make this choice in the moment. You have a chance to learn 2 third-level spells when you leveled up. Fly could be one of those spells if you want the ability to do that. That would give you some degree of control over this leap.
Well, I thought I already chose my spells, so
Did we already have that private conversation? And
yeah.
okay.
So
Fly wasn't one of them, and you don't want to make that change. So you're just gonna have to, with Joel's assistance, move
With
your way
Joel's
along that limb. Rhiannon looks like she needs you to shove her off the tree, Joel.
Do you need a hand?
yes.
Stepping off?
Please.
Okay. You got your acorn in your hand?
Yep, I got it. And
Okay.
for the DM
Your little friend is
Mhm.
wrapped tightly around your shoulders and is dug in, like
Okay.
whatever. But he's nuzzling your neck in it's gonna be okay. This is gonna be fine. We're gonna be okay here. That's sort of a
Okay,
way.
so holding her by the back of her clothes, around the shoulder blades, and like, okay, we're gonna go on 3. 1, 2.
Okay.
Don't let go!
And Rhiannon, you'll now. Do you mean for
So-
this to be graceful, or is this really just?
Well, so I was gonna say, like, I got that deep training now, so I will
Mhm.
probably look like a diver and feet first,
Okay.
because that's easier than head first.
Gotcha. Alright.
So, like, the positioning sounds like I'd need to sort of adjust a little bit, but like
Mhm.
feet together, pointed as small as possible so that you then break into the water. Like, that's what my brain is doing. So,
Okay. So you will leap. She will take a very different approach to Allie's approach, leaping off this thing, and head straight feet first for the stone. And blessedly, Rhiannon, you will disapparate as you are headed way too close for comfort to that stone beneath your feet, and then the world is green. Oh, and
Okay.
she just turned into a little whirlwind and went up in the sky. Does that make you next, Joel?
I mean, if I'm already up there, I guess so. So
Okay.
Yep.
You got a special thing you want to do, or just jump off this
just,
rock?
just jump out, feet in front of me, like I'm going out the side of an airplane. So
All right, fair enough. I feel like you've done that.
a couple of times.
All right, there you go. So you're ready for this, and because you've seen the two people in front of you not hit the rock, you're even calmer than they were when they
I don't
jumped
know
off.
about calm. I'm scared every time I go out of a plane, but I make sure I got the acorn.
Okay.
It doesn't get
and
less scary. It's just yeah.
whoosh, there goes Joel. That leaves just the two of you.
Weren't there extra steps? I asked Randy.
I don't recall, unfortunately. In real world, I don't recall.
He's having a little fun with you, Randy.
I mean,
I rolled a 7 on my check to recall exactly what Chris the Grey told us.
Hidden Hail, you're looking for this person whose name is this with a ship whose name is that. Something
Okay.
about don't follow the path that has the stones on it.
I mean, one of us is bound to get the Infinity Stone if we jump, so let's do it.
Okay.
Doesn't
So-
someone have to toss the other person off?
Well, we
I
already
push
did that.
Elric off the,
Like, do we have that kind of relationship?
and then I jump, and I'm free falling.
And you are indeed free falling. All right, so Eric, your opinion kind of out of control because Randy caught you at a I wasn't quite ready moment, and then Randy's like nearly on top of you. Like you're both going at the same time. I hope
Like
that's
he's just
not bad.
jumping after me, and I'm like, man, if you land on me.
And as the two of you are moving through the air, the priestess will say loudly enough for the both of you to hear it. May Sylvanus's breath guide you and his roots hold you fast. Walk wild and return safely to this sacred place. Friends of the forest. And then you will disapparate. And that is where we will end our session for tonight.
Did,
Oh,
did
thank
we
goodness.
did we pay a lot for a really weird trip? Anyway, thank you for coming with us on episode 11, and we are nearing the end. Just a couple episodes left. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna die again? The second edition AD&D sheet does have a list of number of deaths.
It's
And
true.
mine is not 0.
Mhm,
All right.
True.
I have been Air Scott to
be.
be. I've been Air Scott to be playing Elric Thalavar. I want to remind people about my Justice Vengeance series. The 3rd book, Fallen Angel, is coming out, or has come out already by the time that this episode broadcasts. There might even be a picture that you've seen in ads, possibly this entire time. Who can say? But it's really good. I had a really good time writing it. It's about superheroes. It's fun. Anyway, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford, or Allie for short. I am a writer, TTRPG streamer, game designer, so many other hats. I played Amara, thief, hot mess. Don't know what that says about me. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself.
You are being too hard on yourself, but that is an accurate discussion of your character.
I'm
being too hard on
sure
yourself,
you're in the
but you're
top
right.
half for bad decisions tonight. So.
I've been Rhiannon Held. Sorry that my voice is going. Got a cough, so. So check out my books. I have under Rhiannon Held my urban fantasy anthropological werewolf series, the Silver series. And then under RZ Held, I have a novella series, if you like little smaller books to try them out. That's space opera.
I've been Joel Everett. Thank you, everybody, for coming along on this crazy journey of bad choices with us. And come check out our Discord. Cool people talking about interesting, geeky stuff. Randy?
Randonius, Andersonius, thanks for watching. Yeah, Eric, that was more in the spirit of pushing you into the swimming pool than,
No, I
throwing
appreciate
you
it.
to your death. But
Probably. Yeah,
probably.
I get it.
Hopefully. We'll see. I mean, hopefully there was water in this swimming pool. That's all I'm saying. Should have checked first.
No, it's fine. We're friends. We have that kind of thing. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and back to you, Chris, I guess.
Thank you, Randy. All right, and indeed, thank you all for watching our 11 episodes so far of Book 2. There are, as we pointed out, only 2 left. You will find out if the entire party shows up where they're supposed to be and or dies when we begin episode 12. And then I can assure you, episode 12 and 13 will be worth watching. So please tune in. I'll see you when next I see you. Good night, all.